FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, here we go on a Friday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. The ride is over, man. The ride is unfortunately over for the boys in blue last night out at Kauffman Stadium. We're obviously going to hear from inside the clubhouse throughout the show today. We'll have Vern join us at 12:30 today to get his reaction to this season coming to an end at the hands of the New York Yankees out at Kauffman Stadium. We'll also have a little fun in the 1 o'clock hour today. The fan club coming your way on a Friday. Some much needed, maybe drinks to cap off the end of the season.
Can we start that at like noon today? Can we get fired up a little early?
That's
into the season. It's a Friday.
Drew's ready, it sounds like. Drew's
Might
ready.
have something in the Specs fridge still. I think there were some loose ones floating around.
Okay, maybe so. Well, obviously, hear from you guys.
Like hard liquor.
Yeah,
you guys want to go that route.
We'll hear from you guys throughout the show and tell us how you're feeling about the season as a whole, right? I want to talk about that in a little bit too, is what this season meant. But obviously, the frustration, disappointment is all there from last night. 913-586-7965. That's the J Southland Tow Service text line. Also can call in there as well. But let's just start with the series. Why is this thing coming to an end? And we can get to, I still think, an immensely positive year that hopefully gives you some good vibes moving into 2025. But the reality is, look, it sucks. The season is over. It's been a hell of a year, an up and down season at times. And there was obviously real reason to believe after Monday night's game, in which they even up this series, that they were in great position to move on. And
they had taken control of this series, seemingly, with a couple of games coming to Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, but look, it's pretty obvious. You know, we talked yesterday that it would be hard to believe they could win Game 4 if, once again, 2, 3, 4 in your lineup don't come through with big hits. It's going to be really tough. You're facing a really good Yankees team. Although, by the way, that their bullpen was just outstanding.
Lights out.
Throughout the series. And unfortunately, that happened. There were moments. There's obviously some moments where it felt like they were about to tie this thing up, Kyle is, but we were sitting in right field. We all, Dusty's next to us. We all stood up. Everybody in the media, like the row we were in, everybody stood up. Soto's ass was up against the chain link fence. So there were moments, man, and that adds to the disappointment because you wonder, like, what if, right? The big what if of let's say that game is.
Homer in 27 Parks or the million other things. But it wasn't. It was Kauffman, and the wind was blowing in. All things that were a factor in whether or not that thing didn't go. But, yeah, there were several moments. Between that and the benches clearing brawl, I'm like, okay, now we're cooking.
It did feel
I thought maybe a little energy coming. Then he got the RBI double right after that. I thought, okay.
It did feel like that. Benches clearing brawl, like nothing happened. It was your typical baseball fight, right? Like they just stared at each other for a little while. But yeah, it felt like that could have been, the moment where it swung everything. If the Royals would have ended up coming back and winning that game, that would have been the moment that everybody pointed to and said, okay, that sparked the team. And it did lead to a run right after. But that was it. Just simply not enough offense in the series. Let's just call it like it. Not enough offense in the series from the guys that have to perform. Look at any team in baseball. Especially when you're not a team that is out there spending $200 million on a payroll.
Way too low.
The
Yankees.
300. I know. I'm just throwing out a number, but yes, you get the point. My point being is, like, your stars on a team like the Royals have to hit. You just have to, and that's not to. Tommy Pham was great. He had 3 hits last night. He was terrific, but ultimately, it's got to be the 3 guys we talked about the whole time, and it just didn't come fruition last night, and that ends the season for the Royals.
It depends on how you want to boil it down. I think you could simplify it to its lowest common denominator, which would be the Yankees were a better team. They have a better bullpen. They have more stars and a better offense, and maybe that was what got the better of them. But I think it's what we talked about at the beginning part of the season. I understand. I'm never going to be that mad that Vinny, Bobby, and Salvi had a bad 4-game stretch. If it weren't for them, they wouldn't even be in this position, right? They wouldn't even be in the postseason as it factored if it weren't for those players and what they accomplished. I still probably put it more on the offense the last couple of days. Because if I told you over the course of 162 games, your team gave up 3 runs, which is what they gave up last night, what they gave up the game before, they gave up just 2 the game before that. So in the last 3 games, they gave up a total of 8 runs and lost 2 of them. I don't know, man. In a normal regular season of baseball, those are wins. But honestly, the starting pitching didn't live up to what it was in the regular season either, because that's the other thing that got them where they were. And had they had one guy in the last 2 games just stick it to the Yankees the way they did his starters pretty consistently and went 6 shutout innings versus 5 letting up 2 or 4 letting up 1 or whatever it was over the last couple of games, well, then they probably force a game 5 too. It stinks. It obviously stinks that it came down to the end of this. But yeah, the 2 moments that killed me were those 2. When the benches cleared and then Vinny hit the double, I thought, okay, fire, they've got some fire again. One more hit, one more run in here, and this place is going to start popping off again in kind of a crazy way. And then Isbell's hit. I thought it was gone.
Yeah,
man.
look,
I thought it was gone.
I actually thought the crowd last night was better than the crowd on Wednesday night. I don't know if you agree with me or not.
Yeah,
I thought Thursday night's crowd was better than Wednesday's. Maybe it was the feeling of desperation, right, and knowing like, hey, it has to happen, in anticipation. There also were some, there were, whether it's the bullpen guys running out to the infield, and Brady Singer was like first in line, sprinting from the bullpen, by the way, to get out there. Whether it was that moment or there just seemed like they were close to turning the corner and finding something, I don't know, but I just felt like last night's crowd was better than Wednesday. But you're right, this was the moment where it felt like everything was going to shift.
Graham has his hands on his knees as he leads off of first base. The 1-0 pitch. Isbell swings and it's a fly ball. Deep right field. Back goes Soto to the fence, and he's got it. Oh, my. Kyle Isbell took Juan Soto to the chain-link fence in right field. Literally. He didn't quite get it, but he hit it hard and came just a couple of feet shy of tying this game with a home run.
Stick a knife in my gut, why don't you? God, that call makes it worse. Not like worse.
No,
it's not Ryan Lefevre's
call. It's a great call from Ryan.
Actually.
I knew what you meant. I think we all knew what you meant.
Worse emotionally,
yeah.
If that makes sense. Because I thought he got it, and then I don't need to hear stuff like, well, they're saying over on the broadcast that the win factor at Kauffman tonight is 6 feet, and you're like, and it's like, well, it would have been a homer in like 26 parks. You're like, I don't need to hear any of this. They're not playing at a different park. They're playing at Kauffman Stadium, and wind sometimes blows in.
And the reality is that night you were playing at Kauffman Stadium.
With the wind blowing in.
And that's the reality. Conditions change. It is what it is. It sucks, It obviously sucks. And, you could sense it. We'll play some of the audio from Bobby Wood Jr. and Vinny and some of the other guys in the clubhouse throughout the show today. And, I mean, that's the thing with any sport, but especially with baseball series, like just like that, it abruptly ends. I mean, it's been a hell of a ride this season. Think back to where things were at in May, and just at that point, just the excitement that, wow, there's a chance they're going to compete all year. And that was the reaction in end of April, early May. Like, wow, you know what? They're actually. We were having conversations like, hey, we got to stop saying are they a good team or not? No, they are a good team. Remember, that was like just a conversation. It was tough to get people on board with that. Yeah. Until May. Then everybody's like, okay, I acknowledge they're a good team, but are they good enough against blank team? Are they good enough to hold on? The bullpen's not good enough to make the playoffs. All these different things that happened, they were all conversations, warranted conversations, and then to get to a point where, wow, they got a chance to maybe do something special in the postseason. They of course sweep the Orioles in a short series, and then I really believe it, man. When they evened it up. When they evened it up on Monday night, like that's when I really started to believe that, wow, this could end up being another 2014-ish run, where they go deep into the postseason. But there's no doubt. Let's talk about where this season ended up in terms of heading into the future, because this season, of course, is a massive win overall. And I know it doesn't feel that way today. It's not even 24 hours since the season ended. And it's brutal. And
I'm sure the players are going to have a hard time conceptualizing
of course,
that this is a successful year.
Their goal, of course, is to win a championship. They didn't win a championship this year. But with this organization and where they were at as a whole, 56 wins a year ago to now being in a divisional race for much of the season, hosting playoff games, going up against a Yankees team that, heading in the postseason, was the favorite to win the World Series. And I don't know what the end of the story will look like for them. Maybe they go on to win the World Series. I don't know if that makes you feel any better or worse. If the
worse.
fact the team that...
Screw the Yankees. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah, okay. I was going to finish. But I mean from that you lost to the team that won the World Series.
I don't care about that. That won't make me feel better.
But if you're just saying you hate the Yankees, yeah, we've established that. I think we all hate the Yankees.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that won't make me feel better. Nothing... That will make me feel worse.
Yeah,
somehow.
I just mean it in the concept of
you lost to the eventual champion
in terms of where the organization is headed, and what a win the overall season is. But go ahead.
No, I think when you look at what the Royals did, anybody who's going to come in here and tell me that it's not a successful season after 56 losses just isn't paying attention to the way this team bounced back from that. I also think that we talk about there's really two ways things can go after this typically, and that is, did you overachieve and then you now have a fallback, or were you at the beginning of something more special like we saw in 13 or 14 for the Royals, or at other times in different franchises where they got back on schedule quick? And I think this season, what I asked for, it just depends. We moved the goalpost on this team probably 10 times this year, and it's still a successful season. Going into the year, Gold, if you and I were sitting in a private conversation in April, we'd have said, can you get us to, I'm not kidding, can you get us to Memorial Day? Was the first marker of successful season. Then it was, can you get us to the 4th of July? That was, can you get us to the beginning of the Chiefs season? Now, but then as that got closer, it was like, can you really compete for the division? Can you be a playoff team? Can you actually do this thing? And then when you get in the playoffs, it was, can you win a series? Mm-hmm. And that was a highly competitive Yankees series in which I think the team with more talent won. Like it or not, I think that's what it kind of boiled down to. So for as many times as we changed the expectations for the Royals this season, and rightfully so, massive success this season. I don't care, man, you win 50 more games in any given, 30 more, and I don't know 50, but 30 more games in any given season, I'm going to feel pretty good about it. And some of the young players who they're going to be counting on for years are the biggest reasons why. Didn't that make you feel better? Vinny, Bobby. Like, I understand Salvi had a resurgent year, and he's a bit of an older player, but, Singer maybe had his best year as a starter.
Well, Lucas Erceg, is another individual they acquired, as we all know,
Reagan's
and they have him for multiple years of control going forward. So you would like to think going into next season, we don't even have to question anything about what you're getting at the closer spot going in. These are all stuff we'll talk about plenty in the months ahead in the offseason, but heading into this season, we obviously weren't sure who would have the definitive closer role. Ultimately, it ended up being Erceg, and he was one of the best closers in baseball down the stretch of the season. I know last night he didn't end his season the way he wanted to either, individually, I'm sure, too. But we talked about him probably coming into the fifth inning, and sure enough, he came in the fifth inning. But that was what was on the line. Like, he was still your best option. I understand he ends up giving up a run, but it was understandable why they went to that spot. Just because stuff doesn't always work out doesn't mean it still wasn't the right decision. It was the right decision to go to Erceg there. Unfortunately, again, you said it. I think the Yankees, let's just be honest, they were the better team in the series.
I think that's what it really boils down to. If you look at the depth of their lineup, if you look at the way that their bullpen performed, and their ace, Garrett Cole, got it done twice. In the first game, he wasn't overly, but he was just as good as the Royal starter. And in the second game, he dominated.
It was awesome last night, yeah.
I went back and watched some of the pitches just to see, because I think the initial thing you get from Royals fans after that game is they need to put the ball and play more. Too much swing and miss. Chasing too much. Chasing at about an average rate. Garrett Cole had really good stuff yesterday, and that's that. But I really go back to last year. 2 years ago was an evaluation year. They said, we're going to evaluate who's good and who's not, and then we're going to start this season fresh, and we're going to make those decisions. And the players that they stuck with, the ones that they decided were good enough and still young, all gave them the benefit of paying them off for that service. Vinny, Michael Massey, Brady Singer. Look, they moved off of Daniel Lynch, right, as a starter, and instead he came in later in the season in the bullpen. The guy, Kyle Isbell, the players they stuck around after doing a full evaluation year paid off by proving to them that they had enough talent that if you spent a little bit of money around them, that there was going to be more than enough. And so I just can't. I don't know, man. I'd hate to look at this like anybody would look at this and be like, I can't. Did I want him to go further? Am I disappointed this morning?
But now what's nice is
of course I am. I wanted them to win the World Series like everyone else.
But now it elevates everything going forward. That's what we'll talk about here in 15 minutes or so about what next year could be in terms of that. But that's the thing. Because of this season that they had, now it does elevate everything. I mean, how many times did we hear from fans about, hey, just be competitive, just get there? Okay, now there's a feeling that is what you're expected to do. And Bobby Wood Jr. kind of echoed that in the clubhouse. Now this is kind of the baseline of what people are going to expect and want. Not a one-off type of performance. And to your point a little bit about the core group of guys, there are plenty of decisions that have to be made in the offseason. There will be a lot of new faces still, just the way baseball works. And think about because of the injuries, guys like Tommy Pham, et cetera, they brought in, those guys aren't going to be on this team next year, I don't think.
Yuli and Tommy. Tommy Pham's really talking me into maybe like...
I wouldn't mind Tommy back on the team.
Wouldn't mind just like a little one-year deal?
Yeah, wouldn't mind a Tommy Pham on the team. Yuli, obviously, he's 40 years old. I mean, he give him credit. He was fantastic in the work that he gave them, considering everything and the short time with the team. But that's more of those. That was a September, October fling, Cody.
But the guys, it was cuffing season for them. Is that baseball? It's earlier than normal, right? Mm-hmm. Typically, that's like a November, December problem in the dating world. This in baseball, it's earlier, right? August, September is when you.
But let's be honest, that's what it was for some of those guys. I appreciate it. We had a good time. And unfortunately,
it was nice seeing you. I had a great time. I don't think it's going to work out in the long haul.
But there's a lot of pieces that will be back as well. Here is what Bobby, who obviously was emotional after the game, had to say about this season and just kind of moving forward.
It's just motivation. That's where we want to be, and so. Just got to keep working, get better each and every day. And so I think the best is yet to come for this team. We showed. I don't think we were supposed to be in this situation here, but we were, and we were. So it's just we got a special team. So gonna keep riding it out.
How do you summarize just this series?
It's tough. It's not what you want. That's really it. It just kind of feels like you let a lot of people down whenever you do things like this. But part of the game, kind of something that will light a torch in you and leave you a bad taste for the future, because now for the Kansas City Royals baseball, this is what we want. This is what we're going to do every year. We're in postseason. Now it's how far we're going to go. It's not how we're going to get there. It's how far we're going to go. And so that's what we're going to work for, and that's what we're going to do.
And of course, the image that everybody saw either at the game or you've seen it on social media, and of course, him watching the celebration. We've seen that with other star athletes in sports and the motivation that can potentially provide. Sit there and watch another team celebrate on your field. And the same thing we've talked about with Stephon Diggs watching the Chiefs celebrate, and what that does for star players, and something that they will have and now Bobby will have that image in his mind really the rest of his career, not just going in to next season, but there's a chance some of the great ones like that moment right there is something you would like to think will fuel his entire offseason and will fuel the rest of his career, knowing that feeling that he felt right in that moment and watching the New York freaking Yankees celebrate on his field.
I would tell Bobby, similar to what I'm sure other people would tell him after that, like, he didn't let anybody down. I mean,
the dude's going to finish second in MVP. He's going to,
you had an incredible year, and you drug this team back into playoff baseball when we did not think it was possible going into the year. Like, I was looking to 72, 73 wins. I think we all predicted 75, 6, 7 wins on this show before the season. I would have taken that. I'd have felt fine about that. So, no one's disappointed in Bobby. There's a famous photo of George Brett sitting in Kauffman Stadium with his head holding on, just sitting in his own dugout. Only person still left out there. I like the people that use that to motivate them. I will say at the very beginning of that clip, you can hear what is that, like clapping sound? I thought that there was a lot of surprisingly, not like positive, but good energy amongst teammates, where Vinny Pasquantino had explained to us after, which changes the math a little bit here. When you're a bad team, you get kind of months to prepare for the end of, this is the end of this team. These are the friends I've made. Maybe this, you get kind of time to prepare and to process for that moment. But because your plan is to keep playing baseball until the end of that moment where it's like, man, this was a great, and there were guys like, you had a great year. Thank you for everything. Like,
yeah, there's a
the
lot of
energy
embracing.
amongst,
Yeah.
the teammates and the staff and some of the other people, I thought was really nice to see inside of the clubhouse, even though obviously the result of it was incredibly disappointing because of, when you get this far, the only thing left to do is be like, well, I want to win it. To be one of the final 8 teams in Major League Baseball this year is a hell of an accomplishment. But yeah, next year, will you and I say the same thing? They get to an ALDS and then lose in 4 games. Well, no, you rose the expectation. And that's a good, by the way, we always talk about it like it's a bad thing. Like, well, you got higher expectations. That's a great thing. Are you kidding me? Who doesn't want higher expectations of what the performance is going to be? Bad franchises, loser teams are the ones that don't have any expectation or like, well, just, I hope we have fun today, kids. No. We want to think that next year needs to be at least the ALCS.
Oh, the way the season is evaluated,
win more games.
The way next season is evaluated will be completely different than the way people evaluated fans and media, et cetera, evaluated this season. Someone on the text line, 913-586-7965, said, how come you guys aren't calling out Bobby and Salvi? I mean, you missed the start of the show. You missed yesterday as well. We've acknowledged 2, 3, 4 in the lineup simply did not do enough in this series. I don't know what you want me to just yell into the microphone for 4 hours about it, but we said yesterday, said it today, all ready to start the show. Yesterday going into the game, they had to get more from Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi. And if they don't, I don't think they win the game. Said it yesterday on the show. And they started the show today.
They got one RBI from Vinny,
plain and simple.
but they didn't get enough out of Salvi and Bobby, and they didn't get enough.
We acknowledged it wasn't good enough. I don't know what you mean. You want me to just be angry and yell?
I guess the other part of this is like it's not like beating a man while they're down, but like part of it is, do you think that they don't know that? Like, do you think I need to come up? Do you think I need to tell the audience that? Like, if you're listening to this show, if you watched those games, if you know those people, it doesn't matter. Do you think that Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi don't know that they didn't do enough in that series? Do the listeners not know? Do you not, like, we all know. We know where the pitfalls were that they came up short. But because we talked about what eventually cost them this series, and we did to open the show, and we will as the show goes on, I don't want to get lost in the fact that this was still an incredible year. Like it or not, This was an incredible season. A much better season than any of us were anticipating, with some guys who really emerged to be very good players for the Royals. Part of this is just selfishness. I get it. I am just like you. Over the last 10 years, unfortunately, Kansas City has ruined us a little bit. Kansas City has made us all believe that anytime your team makes a postseason, they just win the championship. The end. That's just like 90% of the time, right? 95% of the time. This feels like the energy after the Chiefs lost that game to Cincinnati. The only time they didn't at least make it to the Super Bowl, where they're like, the hell is this? You're like, what do you mean? What about all the other titles or all the other times they go there or the things in between it? Sometimes your team doesn't win the championship. And it doesn't mean everything about the year was wrong.
And maybe this is it, and we were going to talk about in the next segment, but then we'll maybe get into some of the stuff that moves in the future and move some stuff around. But since we're kind of already talking about it here a little bit, I mean, the reason why maybe you're like, why am I not all upset and pissed? I'm obviously disappointed. Because you know what? It doesn't feel like this is going to be a one-and-done type of thing. We're going to have to wait another decade to get back to the postseason and see this team. That's why, frankly, that's why. Bobby Witt Jr., not going anywhere. Cole Reagan's not going anywhere. Vinny Pasquantino, not going anywhere. Like, I don't know what kind of season Salvi will have next year, but Salvi will be on this team next year. Lucas Sircek will be on this team next year. Some other guys that'll move around, I'm sure.
That happens.
Right? But like, Seth Lugo, did I mention him? He'll be on this team next year. Michael Walker, we'll see. He might opt out, but doesn't mean he can't come back. So this to me is not a, oh my gosh, they made the playoffs, thank you, finally. Now we got to wait another 7 years. I'm not guaranteeing they're in the playoffs next year. I would think that they've got a great chance to be there. But the idea of why it's not so maddening, especially the performance from 3 of those guys, is because you said it. One, that's why they got to this point, but also I think they're going to have to, but I think there'll be a huge reason why they're back in the postseason potentially next year. I don't think it's like 14 or 15, and it's like, wow, we knew that Haas and Kane and some of these other guys were going to be gone in a year or two. You just knew, right? You just knew contracts were contracts, and that's not the case with the huge pieces of why they're in this spot. I think the only exception to what I just said would be Michael Wacha, and we don't know. We don't know what the future holds for him.
It kind of depends. It's up to him, obviously, as he does that. But Bobby Witt Jr. signed a 10-year contract. Vinny Pasquantino is not a free agent for this team until 2029, I think. because of all the arbitration eligible years. And when he was called up to the big leagues, he becomes arbitration eligible next year. So good for Vinny. He'll get a raise, and a much deserved one at that. But yeah, no, I'm with you, Gold. I just think if you look at this roster, and there's a lot of different ways, it could be easy to just like have a full funeral today, right? And we could be New York-based or Philly-based sports fans, and we could bury the entire team for disappointing us. But I just don't. They didn't disappoint me. They lost a playoff series against, I think, maybe a better team, you know?
Well, I think they definitely are the better team. I think it's pretty obvious.
But it was off the heels of an impressive season based on what the expectations were from the outside looking in. I'm glad they had higher expectations for themselves, and they were right, and we were wrong, and all of those things that go in there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna wallow in it today, I guess, is part of it, because I'm still impressed by the season they had.
Up next, though, I do want to briefly, I'm sure we'll do this throughout the offseason, briefly look ahead a little bit to what actually do you think? You know, you everybody watch the offense. Maybe your answer is, hey, they got to go and get a bat, whatever. I want to hear from you guys. Yeah. Text line 913-586-7965. If you were the GM, like what do you think is the top priority for this franchise for next season to go beyond where they are now, which is unfortunately ending their season in the ALDS. Plus, we'll get into a little Chiefs football with Josh BRisco in a half hour right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
If you had the crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high, or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity, and you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high, and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Paramount Plus is once again your home to stream the NFL on CBS. Follow all the action and stream your live local NFL on CBS game every Sunday, all the way through the AFC Championship. Sign up, sign in, and start streaming Paramount Plus today.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey, Mike Valeni here, host of Cash the Ticket alongside my partner, Jim Costa. It's really simple. Are you tired of podcasts claiming they're a bunch of pro bettors when they live in their mommy's basement? Are you tired of podcasts that claim they hit 80% of the games when really they just lose like most of us? Then Cash the Ticket's the spot for you. We're real, we're transparent, we're having a hell of a good time with it, and we sit there and we're there for the sweat with you guys. We're just trying to figure it out just like you. Follow and listen to Cash the Ticket on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Just getting started here on a Friday. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. You guys can hit us up on the J. Southland Toasters text line, 913-586-7965. That's also the hotline if you want to call into the show, talking about the Royals, the end of their 2024 season. If you just want to talk about, hey, what season it was and what it meant to you, if you want to talk about your expectations moving forward, what went wrong, or what we're asking you about right now, which is what are you doing in the offseason? You got your top priority list. Who or what do you think has to be accomplished in the offseason to kind of take the next step? And that, to me, should be the exciting thing. Like, all right, how do they make sure that it's not an exit in the American League Divisional Series? How do they make sure that throughout the season we're not wondering and worrying about them making the playoffs as much as, okay, well, can they be the team that ends up being one of the best records in baseball? Maybe you think this year was actually 2013, except the playoff field expanded. So in 2013, if there was an extra wild card team like there is now, the Royals would have made the playoffs in 2013. Maybe you think this was 2013 and next year's 2014. I don't know, right? Everything's on the table. I think on the text line, there's some interesting suggestions, obviously, and I don't disagree with a lot of them.
I disagree with some of them, though, and I'd like that to be done.
We'll get to some of them. I think it's pretty obvious they need to find a corner outfielder. That goes without saying, right? I think everybody agrees with that has to be a priority. Now, there's realistic names and there's unrealistic names. Yes, I would love Juan Soto on the Royals too. Thank you very much. Let's be realistic. That's just not happening. But I'm also a fan of said move. No, Anthony Santander is an interesting one. 29 years old. You were looking at projections already and stuff like that on contracts. I don't know if he's going to get what's projected, but 5 for 90, no thank you. I don't think
that was Spotrac's estimate.
That seems crazy. But is he a 2 or 3 year deal? Might be something to look at.
I think the number one off-season priority, because so many of these guys have control. Like I see lock up Cole Reagans. They can, but they can also just pitch Cole Reagans for the next 4 years without paying him if they don't want to pay him. Mm-hmm. They should want to pay him, but you get the point, is that is not top of the priority list. Number one priority is to ensure what you are doing with your starting five. Before you even get to a corner outfield bat, you better be damn sure who your starting five pitchers are right now. Because right now, the answer of who are the rock solid, no question 1 and 2 starters on this team, Reagans and Lugo.
Yes.
Can't guarantee me Singer because of all the trade rumors that have boiled up over the last 2 years. Can't guarantee me Waka because he can opt out on an $18 million deal. Can't guarantee me Kyle Wright coming off an injury as an option. Can't guarantee me maybe Lorenzen. Maybe he's your 5. But that means you're still looking at 3 and 4 starters. You're going to be like, oh, Kyle Wright's the
Lorenzen, you'd have to go signing him. He's under a contract. Yeah, so he's a free agent. He's like any other name, though. I know he was with the club, has a relationship now with the club, but he's no different than us plucking out any name in free agency.
And so I don't have anybody guaranteed after the first 2 starters in the rotation. And seeing how I just saw this rotation lead this team into a postseason berth, before you do anything, before you find a guy who can hit homers, before you find a leadoff hitter, before you find some other bullpen arms, you better lock down parts of the rotation. If you're not trading Brady Singer, okay, well, then you're up to 3. But then you got to talk yourself into, is Kyle Wright going to bounce back after the injury? Is Daniel Lynch a starter again? How much free agency dollars do we need to put on it? Do we think Chandler Champlain, whatever it is?
Sure.
You know that you better start looking for viable major league starters, which means you probably have to have a conversation with Waka first, because if he's not opting out and you're not trading Singer, well, then fine. No big deal. 4 out of 5 are kind of locked into position.
You'll figure out the 5th at that point with a bunch of names that you threw out there. Yeah, Waka's the biggest question. Just what is he going to decide to do? My guess is, Cody, is he's probably opting out. Doesn't mean he can't come back, but it wouldn't surprise me if he opts out unless they were just to agree.
Outperform the contract.
He should, for his own personal benefit, he should see what the market is, and I think maybe he will. I actually believe he would like to be back in Kansas City, but as we all know, it's not always that simple. It's about the dollars and cents, and we'll see. But if he's not back, actually, there's some uncertainty there, but based on this front office and their ability to go and acquire a Seth Lugo, acquire Michael Waka himself this past offseason, I have faith in terms of their pro-level evaluation to go in free agency. And yes, cost-effective is always going to be part of the equation, whether it's adding an option year to make it happen or giving a few more bucks up front, whatever it may be in the first year. That kind of stuff, that has to happen. But also, they've shown that they Cole Reagans, Waka, Lugo, they're really good at evaluating big league talent at the pitching level right now. They are. I know past history, it ultimately is we're going to have to talk about developing guys in the minors and see what that next crop of players are going to be. But at the big league level, this current regime has done a really good job at evaluating pitching, whether it's
identifying
in terms of from other clubs, or Seth Lugo was a free agent last year, so was Michael Waka. So I have more faith going into this offseason about, all right, who's that veteran that nobody's mentioning right now? If they think if it's not in the organization, but a veteran that they have to go out and find, who's next year's Michael Waka? You know what I'm saying? Like who's next year's Seth Lugo? Not saying they're going to replicate the exact numbers because those were home runs, and I don't know if you're going to ever hit on 2 free agent pitchers the way they just did. But I feel better about their process. I'll tell you that.
I absolutely do, and I think that that's part of what it is that I've just identified at this point that they've made this work better. Can I give you one under the radar flying?
Okay.
Because it is once again a player option, so it's pretty clear that it'll probably go that way. What if you made like a small trade and let them eat the money because the Diamondbacks don't want Jordan Montgomery anymore? Oh, it didn't work.
It was brutal this year.
It did not work
brutal.
there. I know, but like Walker was also coming off a not very good year.
Yeah.
He fits Kauffman Stadium's dynamics. That was a player that got kicked around a little bit, but was too expensive towards the end. I think he's just got a 1-year option on that thing that's like conditional player related. And so we'll see. But I'm just saying, like, if you were taking a flyer on a guy, that's the kind of player I'd take a flyer on if I were just looking to do it in the cheap. Because right now, they just want him out of the organization. Did you hear their owner the other day? He's like, I bombed that. I should have never told him to go
Wow,
sign
that whole
the guy.
offseason was botched because he's a Boris client, right?
Oh, yeah. He was trying to hold out for like $200 million or something.
He didn't
nuts.
sign until, was it like the day before the season or something?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not being exact, but I think it was pretty
It
sure
was within a week, probably, yeah.
Maybe that led to some of his performance, but
I like players like that if I'm the Royals looking to increase my positioning on this. You, as a team, are going to have to play a different sport sometimes from the, well, we're going to take our chances on guys we think will bounce back, even if they're not working in other organizations. That's sometimes the way that it goes if you're the Royals, because you're going to always be kneecapped by the salary cap and the constraints that come with that, you know?
I hear you on the starting pitching because we saw that's what ultimately carried this team and why they were in this spot heading into the postseason. It was because of Waka and Lugo and Reagans. 100% with you, so that's why you're saying, hey, that's your first priority. I do think, though, in the postseason and at times this year, certainly when Vinny went down, we found out, though, that you are way too reliant on
3, 4, 5.
You know, and I think there's a challenge there when you're
2, 3, 4.
In this size market, like you're eighth hitter. You're not the Dodgers where you have 3 MVP winners batting in your lineup. I mean, that's just not happening in Kansas City.
That sounds cool, though.
It does sound.
I am interested.
It does sound kind of cool. I hope the Padres beat them, though. But you have to have some other pieces that you know, whether it's even a Tommy Pham type. I'm not even. You know, we always talks about Flow just looking at some of the power numbers and all that, but also like. You know, we mentioned in the 14 or 15 team, they just had some guys that found a way to frankly
pro at bats,
win and have professional at bats that weren't star players. And Tommy Pham definitely was that for this team in the month and a half that he was with the club. You know, guys like that are going to have to be part of the equation that can take a little bit of the load off of Bobby, Salvi, and Vinny during the regular season too.
This is what I still hate about baseball, though. It all still applies to the same thing. Like you're saying, I hope the Padres beat them. I do too. Padres did not have a small payroll themselves, but it was not the Dodgers payroll, not the Mets payroll, not the Yankees payroll. Because when you start going through these things and you're like, you and I earlier in the show had said, in the end, it might have boiled down to one simple thing. The Yankees had more talent. They were the more talented team, and they won. Not the better coach, not the better star, or any of the things we're talking about. We're not comparing Judge to Bob. They had more talent. Well, yeah, probably could. When 4 players on the Yankees make the entire Royals payroll combined, like, I mean, just Judge, Cole, Stanton, and Soto. I don't have to add a single other player into the mix to make the entire Royals payroll. So that's it. Look, I would like them to probably also add a corner bat that can hit for some power. Like, I would also be interested in Santander. I see the names. Santander, Jurickson, Profar. These are names that also interest me. Makes sense for the Royals, could be inside their budget depending on what the market dictates on their end. I'm just saying you can't go into a season again not knowing about 1 through 5, because this year they were more prepared 1 through 7, I would argue, than in any year in 10 years. And by making that decision, they were a playoff team.
The one thing, and I know at the end it didn't feel this way because of the injury to Vinny Pasquantino, but the other challenge is, and this goes for every team, but they were actually a very healthy team in 2024.
Yeah,
they really were. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, they missed some time here and there, but nobody missed like long stretches.
I mean, you look at other teams across base. This was you want to call it luck or whatever. I don't know, right? But
starting rotation stayed healthy.
They were a pretty healthy team until the thumb injury that really hurt this offense. We all know. So that's the other thing to factor in when we're talking about the pitching next year. Like the chances of you having a full rotation, only having like I think Walker was on the IL for 15 days maybe or something.
Lorenzen missed a month or whatever.
But he was a late addition. He was, he was a factor, but he wasn't the guy all year. That's the other challenge that you might have next year you didn't have this year. Lugo and Reagans were healthy the entire season, and they pitched a career high in innings.
Both.
And that's pretty special, That's pretty remarkable. Replicating some of that could be, is another thing that could be challenging.
I had mentioned Bobby Wood Jr. How do you think, let's say 10 years from now, because that's always the way to look at it. How will you remember Bobby Wood Jr.'s season this year? Will it wash? Here's the truth. It'll wash away, right? If he just like wins an MVP next year. You won't be like, remember that one really good year where Bobby Wood Jr. finished second in the MVP and they lost in the LDS? This is historically one of the single greatest season any Royals player has ever played. What Bobby Wood Jr. just did. So I don't want to like lose sight of that. I'm just curious how we'll remember it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it gets washed away because I'll be honest. I think he's winning an MVP award in the next couple of years. Yeah, he's that special of a player. I understand, just like he is disappointed postseason, in particular this series, didn't go the way he wanted it to go. But in terms of what he did across the entire season, he's going to be one of the favorites to win MVP next year going in. FanDuel, whatever sportsbook, he will have the second or third best odds, Cody, going into next season to win MVP, and that's probably gonna be the case for much of the next 5 years if he's healthy, right? I mean that is going to be
a top
where he's
five
at.
favorite.
Yep, and so no, I mean this to me, I just view this as the start of his career, the start of this, the national recognition that he started to get more and more as the season went on, as the team was more competitive, as people started to really look at the numbers and said, wow, this guy's having a ridiculous season. He's the most exciting player outside of Shohei Ohtani to watch in baseball. Ohtani's more exciting because he pitches as well, and Shohei Ohtani is one of the biggest freaks we've ever seen in our life in sports. Other than that, Bobby Wood Jr. is the most exciting player to watch in baseball.
I think the way you described it, I don't think you said this directly, but I feel like this is what the end game is, how I'll feel about it. And I feel like that's the way you're saying it is. This was the coming out party. This is when Bobby Witt Jr. emerged as a superstar. We knew he was talented. We knew he had all the gifts in the world. We knew the guy could play baseball. This year, the way I'll remember this year is Bobby Witt Jr. finally emerged as one of baseball's best players, as an absolute superstar in the sport, as a top 5 player in this league, and he plays for your Kansas City Royals. Doesn't hurt that it's coupled with a turnaround of 56 wins all the way to the postseason, that he put up, he'll probably finish second in the MVP, that he signed a record-breaking contract to remain a member of the Royals. All those things factored in, because that's the other part. They gave him all that money, and then he immediately was like, hey, guess what, guys? I'm worth every cent. And you're like, oh, well, that's kind of nice. It's actually gone the opposite way a lot of times for the Royals. I don't know if you knew this. A lot of times they've handed out these huge contracts, and you're like, I'm not really sure we're getting our value.
He's just different, though.
Yeah, of course.
He's simply different, and there's no reason anybody should feel differently about Bobby Wood Jr. moving forward because of a rough series at the plate.
I have multiple people, text line, now over on Twitch, YouTube. Everyone wants to know our thoughts on Jack Caglione for next year. You got any feelings on that already?
In terms of
early,
I mean, I don't think
Jack Caglione's contributing. I don't think he'll play in 2025.
I definitely don't think he's on the opening day roster like some people have texted in. If he isn't on the big league club, it's much later in the season, and he would have to be really just tearing it up down in the minors. No, I don't think he's a factor in 2025.
He played 30 games in high A ball. He had like a 700 OPS. Not great. It's 30 games. I don't think those numbers mean anything. And the Royals, as they've proven before, if they think you're extremely talented, they just care about their internal results, not the actual line in the back of your baseball card. I don't think he'll play in 2025. I know he's a college player and a college hitter. Even that would be kind of remarkably quick to just get 30 games, and then all of a sudden you're there. He's not on the opening day roster. I don't think there's any chance of that.
It would have to be
maybe
later
get a spring
in the
training
year.
invite.
It would have to be later on in the year.
Yeah, but it would take. I think it would take kind of not a miracle, but I mean, I hope. You know what? In your case, I hope that he's just so good they can't deny it. It's like Alex Gordon, right? When he just skipped AAA. We talked about that. Alex Gordon went from AA directly to AAA. He didn't play in AAA until he got sent back down to the minors. And then the one game that they were supposed to play in Omaha in the major leagues, he didn't even get to play in that game because what was the name of that guy who was living in a van with a hatchet? Dan for the Diamondbacks for a while. Do you remember the there was a whole story because he was kind of like a mountain man. He was living in his VW bus, played for the Diamondbacks. Dan something. What was that guy's name? Come on, man. Gold, I was counting on you.
Dan Herron?
No, that's not it. Dan Herron did play. Maybe he did play for the Diamondbacks.
I don't know. He did play for the Diamondbacks, but I don't know.
Did he live in a van?
I don't know. Dan Herron played for the Diamondbacks. You said Dan, and
Daniel
I was
Norris.
Okay, there you go.
Daniel Norris. He also pitched for the Tigers. That's who I was trying to think of. Daniel Norris, who lived in a van, he actually plunked Alex Gordon 2 days before they were supposed to play in Omaha. They had a whole ceremony and 200 of his family members were supposed to be there.
Oh, wow.
He plunked him the day before, so he couldn't play. He was hurt. Couldn't play the one regular season game they played in Omaha. It's okay. Gordon said he made good. He found out from the clubby what kind of things Alex Gordon was into, found out he was into bourbon, got him a super expensive bottle of bourbon as an apology, wrote him a note, was like, sorry, dude, did not mean to screw this up for you. So Daniel Norris is all good in my book. And probably in Alex Gordon's. But, yeah, unless Jack Caglione is taking the Alex Gordon trajectory, he might start in AA next year. But he's going to have to tear the cover off the ball. Think about how well Alex Gordon was hitting for them to skip triple.
I guess we're going to have to make a Fayetteville, Arkansas road trip next year,
For Jack Caglione?
Sure, why not?
I don't care. I mean, we did it for
We
Bobby.
talked to some friends of yours and that we met down in Arkansas. They were at the game last night, and we talked to them. They're like, when are you guys doing the road trip like you did for Bobby Wood Jr.? Because we, as a show, took the road trip with listeners down to Fayetteville. We had a great time down there. It's been a couple years.
I don't regret the player we went to go see, by the way.
I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it.
Is he good?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, maybe we'll do that next year. Who knows?
Someone says, do you think he stays a two-way player? I do not. That's Shohei Ohtani's job and nobody else's.
Oh, Caglione?
Yeah.
No. I know initially they're like, well, we're going to see how it plays out. Why kill the kid's dream right away?
And then they immediately said, try to hit first, kid. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about the other one later, which is a more than fair way to go about it. I'm open to it, but I just think it'd be a little too early. Can I, so obviously now we're out of baseball season.
Just ends just like that, man. Just like that, it's over.
That. So immediately come the adult responsibilities of taking your.
Oh yeah, are you letting your wife go? Are you buying her a massage somewhere? Go to the spa. She's been watching the kids a couple nights. Yeah, you really should get her. Let her go pamper herself or whatever, and you watch the kids for a day, just the whole day.
She's coming to me when we go to Las Vegas at Circa Resort.
We'll be there in a couple weeks.
We're going in a couple of weeks. We'll be there. By the way, register if you've not for our party at Overhang Bar on Friday night. Chance to win a cabana over at Stadium Swim. A chance for game day tickets. If you register, plus they'll give you a free drink just for registering. So if you're thinking about going out in 2 weeks, or you are already going out to Vegas and you're going to be there Friday night, register there. The link is up on our social media pages or text in.
Yeah, we'll send you out the RSVP link.
Yeah, we'll send you the RSVP link. Tonight we got invited to Worlds of Fun.
Is it like the Halloween stuff?
Yeah, Halloween haunt. So an older kid at Ruby's Dance Studio is performing in one of the presuming haunted Halloween performances that exist there. Have you ever been to the Halloween haunt at Worlds of Fun?
I haven't been to Worlds of Fun in
so
years,
text line,
man.
I'm going to need some help here. 913-586-7965. Is this too scary for my kids? We've already agreed to go. They're 8 and 6. Am I good to bring? I mean, on there, it's it is scary. Worlds of Fun does not try to sugarcoat it. But are we talking I'm getting ready to send my kids into a Saw movie? Or can we mostly just play it cool and I'm not going to, send them into terrifying circumstances?
Says is, this is more the chaperone policy. Honestly, under Halloween, on a Halloween hunt, it says 15 or younger must have a chaperone. Yeah, but that's the normal policy I think they've put in there. I don't know, man.
I'm just trying to figure out, would you take a 6-year-old to a haunted house?
No.
Okay. Would you take an 8-year-old to a haunted house?
No.
What's the age in which you would consider frightening your children?
Definitely older than 10.
It's too late. I'm already going. I mean, we could just mostly skip the scary stuff. Someone says, don't do it, dude. It's pretty scary. You're probably not going to go. It's pretty scary for
He's
this
going to end up
ages.
punching one of these guys.
But is Camp Snoopy open? Can I just mostly keep him over there and we just try to go see the one kid
Isn't
performance?
it at the point where
we're trying to be supportive,
Isn't it only the Halloween stuff right now at Worlds of Fun? Isn't that it?
They have some of the rides going, don't they? What do you mean?
I don't know. I haven't been. Someone says it's not bad at all. Very fun, entertaining. Someone else says, no way, don't take the kids. So it's a split text line.
Somebody says when I was 8, I remember going home crying.
Tell me if I'm wrong on this. This is Drew. I don't know. We didn't ask you this last year. Right? You strike me as guy that loves Halloween, guy that loves haunted houses. That goes to. Have you been to since you moved to Cape? Did you go to the?
I have not
Edge of Hell and stuff like that. That's here in town.
I have been to one haunted house.
The Beast.
I've been to one haunted house in my lifetime, and I will not do a haunted house again. I hate Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Someone says they have
the opposite.
All Hallows Eve. No.
Okay.
I'm not a Halloween person at all.
They said they have stickers to not be jump scared.
Oh, put the stickers on.
Well, that's an immediate.
Put one on yourself, too. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, if I'm standing next to the kid, maybe don't try to jump scare me if I'm standing next to a person with the
Someone
sticker
says
on
take
it.
them. It's amazing. The kids take off running, screaming, crying. Don't deny them that experience.
Jeez.
Wow.
Teach them that life is full of scary things and people. Look, what I'm trying to avoid is for the next 2 weeks being like, I'm scared. I don't want to go to bed. I'm seeing ghosts. Like, I don't need that kind of stuff in my life. I was just trying to support this one person at the dance studio, trying to show up for the person who's performing in this thing. He offered everybody tickets to go. I think he gets some, like, comp tickets. I thought maybe he would enjoy it. Rob Collins says too scary. There's, like, gore and chainsaws.
Oh, yeah, Cody.
You think this is a no?
And it's like a haunted house. You should not take them.
So a lot of people saying, though, if you can buy a little ghost light that they put around their neck or whatever, and the workers know to kind of back off.
I'll buy the ghost light. I'll pay for the thing so that, like, they play it cool. But, like, yeah, I mean,
in a way, I kind of
is
like
this bad? Scary stuff a little.
Like, you're the dad, so it's, you and your wife can make the decision. I will say, selfishly, for the content of this show,
You want me
the
to
way
take
you're
them?
discussing, now I feel like you need to take them, and I want you to report back on Monday and tell us how this went down. And I based on the text line, everybody's acting like if you do the light thing, you're going to be okay. The kids will be fine if you do that.
Okay. So I buy the ghost light, and I might be all right.
I'll be honest though, on the text line, like Gold was saying, it's not like close to the middle. Like, it'd be okay. It's either do not take them or why would you not take them? It's totally fine.
And some of the rides are open, right?
They said just tell your kids they're actors. They're not real. Like,
Well, I mean, dude, you can tell kids stuff like that all the time. Kids believe monsters are under their bed. You can't just be like, they're actors. They're just doing it for character work. If they're scared of something,
what's
they're scared of
creepier,
something.
your kids being scared, or if Ruby or Desmond, just one of these tried to scare and they just stare and start laughing at the people that tried to scare? Would that be freakier?
That would freakier for me. The hell? Why isn't this scaring you more? You should be terrified.
All right. Well, let us know. Let us know how that goes. Up next, though, let's talk a little Chiefs football before we get right back into the Royals. Josua BRisco, our Chiefs contributor over at ChiefsOnSI.com. It's a bye week, but I want to get his perspective on the first 5 games of the season and where things stand on the defensive side of the ball after what has now been a strong performance, to say the least.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
BetMGM presents Upping the Action with Jamie Foxx.
Yo, hockey's here, and it's colder than ice, like cold. But with BetMGM, I can heat the game up with overs, unders, parlays, and money lines, all from the comfort of my 102-degree hot tub. Now I'm really putting fire on the ice. This hockey season, download the BetMGM app.
And get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in Nevada, New York, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. for New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Arizona called 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Massachusetts 1-800-327-5050. Iowa 1-800-BETS-OFF. Puerto Rico call 1-800-981-0023. West Virginia visit www.1800gambler.net. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our 2 soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings, located off I-70 and Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, October 11th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. You can enter to win a chance to be on the field for the March to the Three-Peat. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? It means everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom, and ready to do the same for you.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Winchester at Lake City Army Ammunition Plant in Independence is the largest manufacturer of small caliber ammunition for the U.S. military. They're hiring technicians starting at $26.72 an hour with a $1,000 hiring bonus. Excellent day one benefits include medical, dental, educational support, paid time off, and company retirement contributions up to 8%. Join Winchester and serve the U.S. warfighter. It's more than a job. It's a mission. Apply at winchester.com/careers.
This is Gene at House of Diamonds. No paint-by-number custom jewelry, no bogus sales and financing offers, and absolutely no lab diamond ripoffs. Everything at House of Diamonds is real. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
When it comes to car buying, you deserve options. So at Volkswagen Lease Summit, we have 3 incredible promotions to pick from. Choose no payments for 90 days, 0% APR for up to 60 months, or we'll double your down up to $3,000. Pick out your car, then pick your promo at VWLeaseSummit.com.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
IBM and the United States Tennis Association are teaming up and using generative AI to deliver an improved experience for tennis fans around the world. The 2024 U.S. Open digital platforms offer never-before-seen features to bring fans even closer to the action inside Billie Jean King Tennis Center. New long-form post-match summaries mean fans can access detailed analysis for all 254 U.S. Open singles matches within minutes for near-instant coverage at unprecedented scale. To learn more about this new feature and others, visit usopen.org or download the U.S. Open app. Sponsored by IBM.
Paramount Plus is once again your home to stream the NFL on CBS. Follow all the action and stream your live local NFL on CBS game every Sunday, all the way through the AFC Championship. Sign up, sign in, and start streaming Paramount Plus today.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Here in about 15 minutes, we will get to the trash of the day. Also a reminder, a little bit later on in the show, 1 o'clock hour, Fan Club Friday. Love our friend Jeremy Danner stopped by, longtime Royals fan. Also, I'll be honest, when he joins us in the 1 o'clock hour, usually he brings a cooler full of beverages, which is a good thing on this Friday.
Heading into a weekend, and yeah, for this Friday in particular. I might need it after I take my kids to maybe terrify themselves.
Yeah.
They kind of like scary stuff. They just watched the original Beetlejuice.
Okay.
And they were into it. So, you know.
In person, though, a little bit different. Let me know how it goes.
They were into some scary stuff on like smiling critters and stuff for a little while. Like they would watch those like videos on like YouTube Kids or whatever. Did anybody know those? Maybe those. They like a little bit of scary stuff. This is going to go horribly if we go, isn't it? It's going to go really bad. I'm going to regret this if I go. Is what the
text line has warned you.
I'm giving
the text line warned you potentially what could happen. So have fun, enjoy it. Report back on Monday, and maybe can you record a little audio? Are they allowed to? Is that frowned upon? Can you record again some audio?
I mean,
probably.
Or like a post-trip interview. With your
the
kids? Yeah.
So we can have it for Monday?
Yeah, like, hey, what did you guys think? And
they're just like quivering in fear?
Please. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk a little Chiefs football, though, with our Chiefs contributor, Josua BRisco from Chiefs on SI. He's the editor over there, does a great job covering the Chiefs. It's a bye week, Josh, but 5-0, man, considering the injuries, considering that we all know they're not playing their best football, even if I think they put together their best performance of the season, got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, happy official start to football season, fellas.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the Royals could just get us to training camp and we'd be able to take it from there. They got us through the bye week, so I mean,
that's pretty good.
I'm certainly willing to be gracious for what we've seen there. But yeah, this bye week has actually been interesting, and I think it's been at an interesting time for the Chiefs because they are in a spot where they have some retooling to do, where Andy Reid should be in there writing on the napkins or the whiteboard or trying to figure out what the little tweaks and iterations may be because, to your point, it hasn't been their best football, but they double up the Saints in prime time. They get a little extra time to tinker after that. I'm feeling pretty good about roughly 90% of this team, and that's just sort of the group that doesn't include the battered wide receivers because something needs to happen there. I was bullish on Juju Smith-Schuster. I think I told you guys last week that it felt like, all right, there's going to be a role growing for him that I'm excited to see, but I don't think you should count on him putting up 7 for 130 every week. I don't think that's a three-peat strategy.
You don't think that you can just go about that? That's interesting. What about the strategy that is clearly no other team in the NFL has been studying like 1956 Yale game tape with 4 tight ends, and Andy's going to take the league by storm that way because he will adjust in that capacity. And honestly, that was the part that impressed me the most. That worked really well. That was incredibly effective.
Yeah, and that is like one of the underrated things throughout all of football is being able to win in different ways. And the Chiefs have shown that over the decade, with Andy Reid of having different turns in the offense to play to your strengths, sort of minimize your weaknesses, but it's never been more evident than in what we're seeing now, because obviously, this is a Super Bowl caliber team, and a team that was planning to play one way this season. Now you get into this last game before the bye, the first game where you knew going in you wouldn't have Rashee Rice, and so then what's the plan? 27 carries for Kareem Hunt. I imagine telling yourself 2 months ago, just saying the phrase, even without the Chiefs, 27 carries for Kareem Hunt in prime time. I'd be like, wow, Alvin Kamara must have gotten hurt. Like, good for him, latching on with the Saints. I'm sorry, he what?
I would have actually more likely assumed that we actually invented a time machine and decided to watch old highlight tapes before I thought that Kareem Hunt was leading this team with 27 carries. I guess that's part of it. Alex and I earlier in the week said the same thing where the excuse making around the league of like, well, we don't have this guy, or he's been a little dinged up, or, the offseason got us. I'm like, what's your excuse? Because the Chiefs are without their number 1 and number 2 wide receiver, their number 1 running back. They lost their number 2 cornerback, and none of it has stopped them from having one of the league's best defenses and being 5-0.
I'm glad you mentioned the defense because it is all of our inclinations, I think, to talk about the offense because it's the thing that we can kind of understand a little better and the thing where the injuries are impacting it in a certain way. But the defense to this point this season has been remarkable. And I've talked about this a little bit throughout the week. I think I mentioned this on Monday with Fesco and Dusty. But the fact that this defense right now appears to be firing on all cylinders isn't just amazing in light of them losing L'Jarius Sneed. And it is. The fact that Jalen Watson stepped in there and the defense still looks largely excellent, that's amazing because L'Jarius Sneed's a great player and he's a great player in Tennessee. Charvarius Ward is a great player in San Francisco. Those were not like smoke and mirrors things here. Those are legitimately excellent players in Kansas City. Now Jalen Watson seems to be on that track. Trent McDuffie's a top 3 corner in football, and I'm just saying top 3 because I don't want to argue 1, 2, 3, but I can argue all the way up that ladder. But the thing that's interesting now, guys, is that nobody who's getting significant snaps in this defense is in their first year in this defense. Jaden Hicks, we got excited about through training camp, and I think still rightfully so. I am in no way worried that he's not going to make the NFL transition. I just think it's going to be next year, probably without Justin Reed, when Hicks has an entire year of Spags meetings in his back pocket, when he knows why and what this defense does what it does. Right now, there's no typical Spags growing pains. Not that was even a bad thing, but it's just a true thing, right? Week 1, 2, 3, 4, that defense in years past under Spags has been simpler. It hasn't had as many moving parts. It hasn't been as deceptive as what you see down the stretch because that's when everybody's finally comfortable. I remember Justin Reed saying in his first year here, I think it was like week 12 or week 13, he later admitted in next year's camp, where he's like, yeah, I think it was like week 12 or week 13. I felt like I really kind of had a mastery of the defense loading. This entire unit has a mastery of the defense now. That's also overcoming no Charles Omenihu and relatively underwhelming starts for Mike Dana and George Karlaftis. They are exceeding expectations in so many of those ways, and I think it's large part because they kept the band together. It's really remarkable.
I'm glad you brought up Charles Omenihu. That's exactly where I was headed, because at one point in time, Josh, it felt like maybe the Raiders game at the end of this month would be a target date for him, but they haven't opened up the practice window yet. So do you think that that's just a sign of, hey, right now we know we're going to be playing 20-plus weeks of a season. We're going to be even more cautious with this, or do you think there's maybe more to the story there with Charles Omenihu coming back from the ACL?
I believe our friend Nate Taylor has just begun to put the burner on simmer. Not quite bubbling yet. We're not boiling, but it does seem like they're still relatively on track that way. Right now with the bye, and they didn't worry about this with Clyde, which is interesting, but with the bye, it might make sense to not even open that window until you're back on the practice field getting ready for the Niners. Still, I think he'll need that full 21 days, and you don't want to pop that too early. So I would not be worried about it. Frankly, like until maybe December if he's not on the field, because the defense is thriving to this point. You really want to have a guy like that as healthy as possible for playoff games, and the Chiefs have the luxury right now of saying, yeah, we're getting by without you. Make sure that you are at maximum capacity later in the year. I think that's a reasonable, responsible thing to do here.
Let's not toss around a name for a wide receiver necessarily, but we know that the next 3 weeks are essentially, the way I view it, the evaluation period of what does your receiver unit look like, especially against some, let's call them tougher opponents, maybe like San Francisco coming up next week too. What is the style of wide receiver you think they're missing? So before we toss out a name, what is the type of wide receiver they're going to need?
It's such a funny question and a good question, because my answer and Andy Reid's answer are probably different. And that's just because of how Andy Reid stylistically has his type. I've been joking that
they're 5'7" and run a 4.4.
It's not like 6'5" Blue Eyes Finance. It's like it's 5'9", 4.5 real fast. It's anything under that. T. Higgins never made sense for Andy Reid, despite us oh man, we're on that 32nd pick. what I think that they need what they need fundamentally is someone who can beat man coverage. So you've got Kelsey and Juju who are still like zone killing merchants. And Worthy can certainly beat man coverage, but we're trying to figure out exactly how much Patrick Mahomes wants to trust him or where that relationship is right now. I have always wanted this offense to get a more traditional big body X receiver type. This isn't my trade fantasy here either, but every time we talk about DeAndre Hopkins, it's like, man, wouldn't it be cool to let Patrick Mahomes have a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins? And then Andy Reid and Matt Nagy and Patrick Mahomes are like, no, just get me somebody really fast who can run open into space. So we can get into the names there if you'd like, but I have wanted to see them try to take a receiver like that. It's why Justin Ross has stuck around as a concept, because they just don't have anybody else quite like him. But I think that's partially purposeful. Either it's just a value thing that the Chiefs have identified, or really it is stylistically what Reid likes to scheme up and what Mahomes likes to throw to. Andy Reid loves to get guys open releases into space downfield. Mahomes loves to hit guys opening up into a window, or just finding that little gap that real speed can open. So I think they're going to continue to try to double down on that stylistically, despite the fact that I think this offense could use a unique type of receiver.
One thing we noticed, even before the Rashee Rice injury, 43% of the time they were already using multiple tight end sets. That increased with the Rice injury. That opening drive of the game against New Orleans, I thought, was one of their best drives of the entire season. It was balanced. Yeah, they used Kareem Hunt, but also Travis Kelce had a catch or two. Noah Gray, I think, had a catch or two. Jody Fortson was involved. Is that just what we're going to see here for a while?
Jody Fortson caught a pass before a wide receiver did in that game. I have loved Jody Fortson since Valdosta State, and I didn't think that was going to be the direction that we headed. I don't think it's going to be exactly that. I do kind of think that the Saints game was a survive and advance, and then we'll do some self-scouting in the bye. I think we should see more of that. Noah Gray is like almost literally always a 52% player. He's played 52% of the offensive snaps each of the last 2 seasons on average, like individually, not just total. That is exactly how often they use him. We saw a little uptick against the Saints, and I think that he's an interesting sort of chain mover. I'm always happy to see Noah Gray get the football on 3rd down. I'm never nervous when the ball's in midair and it's heading to 83. So I'm good with that. I'm good with bringing out bigger bodies, and Fortson included, who had a relatively small role, but he had more snaps than McCole Hardman and Sky Moore did, and I think that's a good thing. Have your 14 personnel with 4 guys who can go catch the football. I'm intrigued to see the logical conclusion of that, and I do think it presents a little bit of a matchup problem for opposing defenses. Not quite in the Kyle Juszczyk 49ers sense, which obviously they'll see next week, but it does change some of the math of what you can do as an offense. And if you're a defense preparing for the Chiefs, now you've got to be ready for the fact that they may put 4 tight ends out there with Kareem Hunt in the backfield and just try to treat the game that way, knowing that, again, all those tight ends and Hunt can all catch the football.
I might be misreading this, Brisco, so this will be my last question for you. As someone who at least has worn enough eyeliner in their life to maybe deal in the macabre, would you take your kids to the Worlds of Fun Halloween hunt if they're 6 and 8?
I have been thinking about potentially going to the Worlds of Fun Halloween hunt for the first time myself.
Wow, okay.
I'm not a scary movie guy. I don't really love the spooks and scares. Renee always wants to throw a Halloween party. We dress up, and I like the Halloween season. I don't really want to be scarred that way. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't take your kids. If you're like, hey, Josh, can you babysit? What would you do? I would not be like, we're going to go scare these children. I would not want that on my hands.
But they're my kids, right? So, in the end, it's only me that's responsible.
Right, yeah, but then the trauma is yours both at the inception and to deal with. I don't know. I mean, you know them better than I do, but I don't know. Is the Tapp family just built different?
We're not, I don't know. My parents didn't really stop us. So, I saw Stephen King's It when I was, 7. So, they didn't really block that stuff from us as kids, and I'm mostly well-adjusted. Mostly.
I think, Cody, if you want your kids to turn out like you go ahead and take them.
Next week, when we have Brisco on, he promises to give us the lowdown on why Dennis Quaid was at the Chiefs game as well. He's working on that. That's why we have him on this show. Thanks, Brisco.
Appreciate you guys. Don't take your kids, or do, and then send a video.
That seems to be the consensus. Either don't take your children, but if you do, make sure that the rest of us get something out of it.
That's Josh BRisco, our Chiefs contributor, the editor over on ChiefsOnSI.com. No, seriously, does anybody know why Dennis Quaid was at the Chiefs game? Just the place to be now?
Is he
just the place to be, you know? Want to be part of that?
He wasn't just at the game. He was sitting in press conferences.
Yeah, he was.
Wait, he was sitting in on press conferences?
Yeah, but we've seen that. It's the same reason why, Stone Street and these other celebrities have sat in on the press
He
conference
was listening
before.
to Juju's and couldn't take his eyes off him. He was like laser focused on what Juju was saying post game.
Is there? Yeah, the way you phrased that was weird, but but basically,
makes it sound like the whole reason they're changing all these rules about availability. Quaid's way too into it.
I'm saying what people were observing. He was locked in and focused to whatever Juju was saying post game.
Yeah, I got you. No, Dennis Quaid was there. I don't know. Look, cool. More people that want to, come to Arrowhead, come to Kansas City, the better.
I guess I'm just,
Dennis Quaid.
He has nothing to do with Kansas City. Like he's not from here. He's not.
I don't know why. He's from Houston, so he was born in Houston. I don't know.
So
and they were not playing the Texans. So
maybe he's just pals with Andy?
With all the acting stuff now, maybe, who knows? Travis, who knows? I mean,
got a lot of commercials. Andy's been in like 3 now commercials with Travis. He's getting him a regular check. I guess the interesting part is he was both in the interview room and then he was in the locker room just listening.
Oh, he was in the locker room too?
He's a huge Astros fan. Like, he's a huge Houston Astros fan. So he went to Cleveland Brown. This based on this story. He was in the Ernie Davis story movie many years ago, and we went to Brown Stadium to dedicate a jersey, I guess. So
he's probably just boys with the Hunt.
Is there another movie coming out? We just don't know.
All of a sudden, we're going to have a box with Taylor Swift, and then another box with just a bunch of random celebrities who are just showing up to the game.
We're going to find out.
Galifianakis is going to show up randomly and just hang.
We're going to find out in 3 years. There's some football movie Dennis Quaid is in, and he was just doing a little research.
He's going to play Andy Reid in a football movie?
Yeah. They'll ask me. I'll be an extra in that one, too.
I'll tell you right now. He still somehow would look like a better casting than the time they casted Kevin James to be Sean Payton. Because that was one of the worst casting jobs I've ever seen in my life. That one never made any sense. I don't know. We'll see. I guess, maybe Taylor Swift's just going to bring more people, like you said, to Chiefs games.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping she was going to be at the Royals games. I'm sure Major League Baseball was hoping for that, too.
They would have loved that. They absolutely would have loved that.
Trash of the day.
That one always wakes me up. That one's just very loud, right in the headset. That one always wakes me up pretty good there.
I have to apologize because I turned it up a little. I turned it up a little bit high. I'm sorry.
We're good, man. All right, let's go to Washington State for this one. No, not college football, Drew. Actual state here. We're not talking about the university.
I perked up for a second.
Yeah, not the Cougars. No,
Okay.
no. It just happens in Washington State where sheriff deputies frequently get calls about animals, loose livestock or dogs, but there was an unusual one. They had a 911 call. A woman was being hounded by dozens of raccoons swarming her home. She reportedly had to flee her home. 50 to 100 raccoons descended upon her home, and they were attacking aggressively. She told deputies here's the problem. Here we go. She started feeding a family of raccoons decades ago, and it was fine until 6 weeks earlier when a number kept growing and from a handful to around 100. You feed 5 raccoons, they're all showing up.
A raccoon.
They're all showing up.
They're bringing their cousins.
Well, I just started
brothers,
feeding
sisters.
that one mouse in my house. I didn't realize that 400 others would want to be here.
Mm-hmm. They were becoming more aggressive, demanding food that would hound her day and night. They would scratch on the outside of her home at the door. She pulled up her car. They would surround the car, scratch at the car, surround her if she went from her front door to her car, went outside. They all saw this as a food source. Of course they did. What a disastrous mistake. What do you do? They keep coming back. And obviously, animal control is one thing, but they're going to keep coming back, or other ones. Like, now, you got to move. You got to move.
You got to be like that person who we haven't seen in a long time who used to release all these animals, these squirrels, out on the back side of the studio, remember? There's like a little outer road. And there's a guy about once a week who'd come with like a couple of caged squirrels and traps of animals, and he'd let them out into this, not even wooded area. There's like 5 trees. in between like Shawnee Mission Parkway and Metcalf.
You'd have to move, I feel like, or you sell your house and like you got to. I feel like you got to disclose that. Why we just bought this house and there's a ton of raccoons that just keep showing up.
Honest to God, I think you can sue them. Like, look, I don't know that that's in a normal disclosure. Like, we have basement flooding issues. Hope you know. But you better tell me about a wild pack of raccoons that are constantly attacking my house because you fed them a bunch.
What is she feeding them? What are you feeding raccoons? Just scraps or what?
I guess you just get traps, man. I don't know what to say.
I don't know.
Traps or a BB gun? I mean, I don't want to be like a jerk about it, but
You just want to pick off all 51 by one?
I mean, if raccoons are invading my house, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, you know? At some point, I got to draw a line.
Like, I'm assuming you've put out trash curbside before, and you've had maybe one tips over, and you've had a raccoon or something get in your trash if you had it outside.
I haven't had raccoon issues much.
Okay.
We used to have possums over in Waldo a little bit.
Shouldn't you, like, know going into it? Like, you're trying to be nice, sure, and feed them, but shouldn't you know that is a possible outcome?
Yes.
How creepy would
That's
that be?
how vermin
You pull into your driveway and there's like 60 raccoons scratching your car. I would think the apocalypse is about to start.
I'd be like, is a tidal wave coming through?
I mean,
our Chiefs contributor, by the way, got to the end of it. Quaid recently filmed a sports film, The Long Game, and is working on the Lamar Hunt story.
There we go.
About the creation of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Texans, who became the Kansas City Chiefs.
Makes sense. So it was
he
for
must
a
be
movie.
playing Lamar Hunt.
For a movie.
So there you go.
Thank you, Josh. That's why he's our Chiefs contributor. I knew he'd get. I was going to wait till next
week. He
week.
found that information super quick.
Two Chiefs movies
Credit
coming
to
out
him.
then.
A lot of people on
right.
the text line are going further than me. They're like, just get a shotgun. They're not even going the BB gun route. They're like, I'm going to send a message to one raccoon that the rest of you are not welcome here, apparently.
So it says game warden says to shoot them. That's from the game warden. Says shoot them, way too many raccoons.
Who am I to turn down the game warden?
Yeah, the game warden says to do it, you do it.
But that means I have to go to the store and buy a shotgun, too. And how much are shells?
I figured you just had a bunch of them already in your home. You strike me as someone that would have a ton of them.
A lot of shotguns?
Yeah.
The imagery of you.
I don't even have a gun, let alone miniguns, to necessitate a rack. That's
having been to your house, Cody, imagining you pulling into the driveway and just standing there in your driveway waiting with like a shotgun to take out.
Cody's wearing a tank top.
Yeah, I mean,
just waiting for the raccoons.
Mm-hmm.
This guy.
So the BB gun will just make the raccoons laugh. Won't do anything.
Okay. I don't know.
They don't die easily, according to our raccoon expert. I told you the text line everybody's an expert on something. You just never know on the text line.
Raccoons are the kind of animal that looks friendly, but you know is mean as hell. Like they look
They look friendly?
Well, they just look like you're like, oh look, it's like a weirdo teddy bear. You're like, that's kind of nice.
Maybe a squirrel. Maybe
hell.
a squirrel, not a raccoon.
Right.
A squirrel I'll kind of give you. Raccoon, I don't know, man. Anyway, 913-586-7965. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour here on the show. Let's talk about one thing that has not changed for the Chiefs, and it's probably not going to change. And I'm not just talking about them winning football games. We'll explain that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Calling all Kansas City football fans to downtown Las Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October for the ultimate game day getaway. Huddle up at Overhang Bar with 96.5 The Fan for our pregame tailgates on Fridays with drink specials and giveaways, including a pair of game day tickets. Then catch all the action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge in the center of it all at America's favorite place to watch football, Stadium Swim, featuring 6 pools and a massive 143-foot screen. To book your huddle up experience, visit circalasvegas.com today.
When it comes to financial goals, everyone has that one thing you want to accomplish. Raise your credit score, give your kitchen a well-deserved glow-up, or eliminate credit card debt. At Main Street Credit Union, your main thing, well, that's our thing. It's what we're passionate about, helping you achieve your main thing. So bring us your wants, your needs, and your goals. We'll provide you with the tools to achieve them. Go to mainstreetcu.org for more information.
BetMGM presents Upping the Action with Jamie Foxx.
Yo, hockey's here, and it's colder than ice, like cold, cold. But with BetMGM, I can heat the game up with overs, unders, parlays, and money lines. all from the comfort of my 102-degree hot tub. Now I'm really putting fire on the ice. This hockey season, download the BetMGM app.
And get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in Nevada, New York, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. for New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
It's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here now on 96.5 The Fan, telling you guys about my friends over at Window World. Window World is the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Pick up the phone right now and call Window World today at 816-799-0820 or check out the website windowskansascity.com. And remember this, when you call Window World, be sure to mention that you heard this on The Drive with me, and you'll be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets during the upcoming season. You know they got some big games, and you're going to want to be there. So call my friends over at Window World. They're offering right now 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. In over 20 years of business, Window World has improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 54,000 homes right here in the Kansas City metro. Check out the website, windowskansascity.com. Pick up the phone today at 816-799-0820 for a free home estimate. Call to be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets. Remember, Window World, simply the best for less. And the official window of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and you don't have to keep living with all of that joint pain. Real, lasting relief is possible with help from QC Kinetics. People here are getting their lives back, getting their mobility back, thanks to QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. And I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed in your achy joint. Back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. These are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. You owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Paramount Plus is once again your home to stream the NFL on CBS. Follow all the action and stream your live local NFL on CBS game every Sunday, all the way through the AFC Championship. Sign up, sign in, and start streaming Paramount Plus today.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced. Let our professional parts people test your battery for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's new Tropic Bowls in paradise at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Enjoy our new Bahama Mama Bowl, inspired by our fan fave smoothie flavor, serving pineapple, strawberry, and coconut. Or dig into 32 grams of protein with our new Peanut Butter Protein Crunch Bowl. It's tropic time.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
That's right. That's right. It is a bye week, though, so we'll have to wait till next week in San Francisco to hear the Chiefs right back here on 96.5 The Fan. Although on Monday, we'll be back on a normal schedule with Chiefs, meaning Monday you'll hear Andy Reid exclusively here on your home for the Chiefs 96.5 The Fan. The only place on a Monday at noon that you hear from Andy Reid is right here during Cody and Gold. So that is a normal week next week for the Kansas City Chiefs. I do want to talk about one thing that happened a year ago, and of course, some people would just say, well, it didn't matter. They won the Super Bowl. But it is interesting to see again, which is...
That's last year, year to year.
The Chiefs are 30th in red zone touchdown percentage, but they're 14th in points. Now, last year... They were 14th in points last year, though. And we all know how the offense looked, which is why we have said, hey, this offense is right now looking like it's going to be very similar to a year ago. With that said, I think there was some promising signs this past week against the Saints. I mean, they moved the ball. Did they not? They moved the ball against New Orleans, and then there was the ball batted up in the air on the Juju Smith-Schuster slant, which should have been a touchdown. And then all of a sudden it changes that. Think about that. They very easily... And I know we said this last year. Very easily could have had 34, 36 points in that game.
They are worse than they were last year at scoring in the red zone. Last year, in touchdown percentage in the red zone, they scored at 51%. And I will always admit with the Chiefs that I don't think that they're going to rank number one in that category, because a lot of times I think they just get more opportunities to score than most teams. So more chances equals more chances for failure, all the things that kind of come with that pretty consistently. But for a team that made 51% of their red zone trip touchdowns last year, they are down to 38%. 38. That's unacceptable. We thought last year was bad, Gold. And now they are the bottom team in the league other than, this is the company you keep, by the way. New England is dead last at 30%. Miami, who's been lifeless since Tua went down, at 36%. The other teams in the bottom 10, Atlanta's kind of surprising, but then Giants, Denver, Jacksonville. I mean, these sound like good offenses to you? These have been wretched teams. Now, I get it. They can fight some of the trends, and they're 5-0, and they can do some things different than other teams can do. But if they're going to three-peat, which is the conversation we really want to have here, this won't work. We were just talking about the Royals, and we said, hey, if they're going to win this game against the Yankees tonight, they're actually going to need 2-3-4 to hit in the lineup. They're going to need Vinny, Bobby, and Salvi to contribute to the offense. I feel the exact same way about the red zone scoring. If they're going to win their third straight Super Bowl, they can't be like this in the red zone for the remainder of the season. This is far too low.
The key part, that last part, you said remainder of the season. How about remainder of the regular season? Because we saw this last year. All of a sudden, now you can say you're playing with fire and hey, the chances of it happening. But last year, all of a sudden, second to last week of the season, things started to click. Offensive line play improved. Defense kept playing at a high level. Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs played at a much higher level than he did in the regular season, and the rest is history. They went on the road, with the exception of the wild card round. We all know it, and they won the Super Bowl out in Las Vegas against San Francisco. So I hear you. I get it. they can't play that way all year and win the Super Bowl. Sure, I think by the playoffs is what we're talking about. Can they get it right by the playoffs? Because they did last year. In the playoffs last year, they didn't look like the team that was scoring 14 points per.
They also had Rasheed Rice. They're never going
I
to
understand
this year.
I understand that, but I mean, this still all goes back to the rest of the AFC conversation that we've had multiple times already, which is like, okay. Who's going to be the team that you're actually fearful of? Maybe people will start to talk themselves into Baltimore again. They've won 2 in a row. The Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Bills. And they just beat Cincy, obviously.
Yep.
And so they get the Commanders this weekend. All of a sudden, the Ravens could win 4 in a row, and their 2 losses would be to what? Kansas City and the Raiders.
The Raiders one will never make any sense. But
so I think that's the answer if they start looking good. But other than that, man, everybody's flawed. Everybody has their issues. Like, it's just very hard for me to think that, oh, man, if they don't get this corrected, they can't win the Super Bowl. I think they have to be better in that area, but it doesn't look like right now in the AFC with the way everybody is playing that there's any team where you're like, man, you got to have an A+ game or you're losing. No. You can win any game right now in the AFC without playing your A game. That's just the reality of how down the product is currently.
I think that's true because the Chiefs, again, did not play their A game and beat the Baltimore Ravens. From the 8-1-6, aren't the Saints number 1 in red zone defense? Last week's opponent, they are, actually.
There you go.
So the Saints do have the number 1 red zone defense in the league, one of their previous opponents. They also, who else have they played? I can tell you where they rank. I'm looking at Pittsburgh is number 3 in red zone defense so far in the NFL. Pittsburgh has one of the number 1 defenses in the league. They're number 3 in red zone defense. Who am I missing now? Ravens, Baltimore. 25th. They stink in red zone defense. Cincinnati is 25th, tied with Baltimore in red zone defense. So some of this is an opponent because you can be like, well, they faced a couple of pretty good red zone defenses. They've also faced a couple of horrible red zone defenses. But I will say, scored more points against... They haven't played since. Oh, they have played Cincinnati.
No, the Steelers. You mentioned the Steelers.
Not the Steelers.
They'll play them later.
Sorry, that was the one I was getting confused on. They have played Cincinnati, and they have played Baltimore. Those teams they actually scored a little bit better against. Like, the teams they scored a little bit better against are the teams that they typically were up against, at least in the red zone scoring department. Atlanta's about league average, in case you're curious. But and San Francisco's about league average, the team they're getting ready to face. I go back through, and here's the problem with this year versus last year is, it actually makes even less sense this year. You're like, but how? They're missing Rasheed Rice. They're missing Hollywood Brown. They are the number 1 most effective running game in the NFL right now. So you don't have to be like tinker-toeing down here or nonsense. You should, with, again, the best interior line in the NFL and the number 1 most efficient running game in the NFL, be able to, hear me out here, run it in.
I know, but this is a lot of the same conversation last year.
I know, but like now they're more efficient, I guess is part of it. They're more efficient, same offensive line, better tight ends probably as a unit, more experienced. They're more used to playing in big sets. And look, maybe they just don't have a red zone target because it's Travis Kelce. Then who would you throw to the red zone second?
Right now,
it's
probably Juju. Yeah, it's got to be.
Okay, well, that's not great. But also, like, that's the whole, like...
I mean, look who they threw the pass to. I know it was batted up in the air. You should have caught it. But, like, who was targeted on that play? It was Juju Smith-Schuster.
Had a red zone touchdown a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, so I think Juju for sure. This also goes back to why I think we've all acknowledged over the next couple of weeks, I don't care how great Juju looks, they still need to go and get a wide receiver to help them with said issue that we're discussing here, which is the red zone.
This might be why DeAndre Hopkins is such a great fit. DeAndre Hopkins plays the X, a position that they're completely missing right now. He can beat a guy in man coverage, something they desperately need right now. He is absolutely a red zone target. There is no argument on the other side of that. Now, I would say Amari Cooper also fits this bill.
And he's a hell of a lot cheaper than DeAndre Hopkins, too. I'll remind you, this year, yes, it'll be prorated, but $18 million is what you're looking at for D-Hop.
Amari Cooper, I think this is the first time I've seen a public report that's actually acknowledging their willingness to do it versus people just speculating. Ari Myrov, maybe an hour ago, had said that the Browns will look to move Amari Cooper. He's making it sound like a report. Would look to move Amari Cooper if the losing continues. Well, I got good news, Cleveland fans. If you were looking to trade Amari Cooper or you're a team wanting to trade for it, pretty sure the losing is going to continue with Cleveland. You and I have watched sports a long time. We're going to continue to cover sports. Not only do I think it is the worst transaction in sports history, I think it's going to go down in my lifetime is the single worst set of transactions in sports history. Not NFL, not Major League Baseball. They traded for a man. They gave him $240 million guaranteed. They've never won. All those picks turned into C.J. Stroud and every other great player imaginable. I mean, you could not have done worse.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson,
with that transaction.
Deshaun Watson is absolutely horrific on the football field and off the football field. So yeah, it's one of the worst trades we're going to see in our entire lifetime. I think that's pretty clear.
I think you bringing up DeAndre Hopkins is, I know that one's been brought up, but I was thinking about it as you guys were talking, and in the red zone, we don't traditionally see we know that Mahomes is capable of making this throw, but the Aaron Rodgers back shoulder, run a flat, and I'm going to throw the ball where only you can catch it.
Their offense very often. That's the other thing.
I know. Well, I think that's something that Mahomes is capable enough of doing it. I know that Andy, he might have to veer off of what he typically does, but that's a throw that Patrick Mahomes is capable of making, and it is one that's really difficult to defend if you have the wide receiver who can
I was
box
say, you got to have the
way.
trust. You got to have
Correct.
the trust of the receiver, too.
You need a guy like a DeAndre Hopkins or Amari Cooper could do the same thing where you can trust that he's going to run the right route, properly position himself where you can make that throw and not throw a pick six.
No doubt. I also think it's fair, 913-586-7965. Someone points out, too, when we're discussing the red zone issues, and, yeah, they had it last year as well, and you're like, hey, they got a good running game. Why is it still a problem in the red zone? Let's be honest, what we just discussed yesterday about the MVP situation for Mahomes. He's the favorite, but number-wise, 6 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's acknowledged it. He has not been great. He's coming off his best game, but he has not been sharp. That also has led to some of the issues in the red zone. So it all goes hand in hand. The beautiful thing, as I'll say over and over when we're discussing these issues, which they are, the team's 5-0. They're winning while they're trying to sort it out. There's a lot of teams that are not winning while they're trying to sort it out. And this franchise under this regime has a track record of figuring it out when it matters most. I do think there's absolute truth to the playing with their food until the playoffs. I absolutely think that is a thing.
I wouldn't say, I think it's the right idea, but it's the wrong way to describe it. I do not think the Chiefs are saving things for the playoffs, right? I don't think Andy Reid has some secret ancient book he blows the dust off like in a Halloween movie, right? And then unlocks only the good plays now. But I think what actually happens, Gold, is what you're describing, which is he takes 17 games, 18 weeks, as an evaluation to try to figure out what works. And by the time he gets to the postseason, he's done with the, I was trying to see if this would work and it didn't, and he just sticks to the stuff that did. He's done manipulating or trial and erroring or messing with the chemistry, trying to figure out the perfect formula. And instead he's like, what are the 40 things that work for this team? I'm just going to do that now. The rest of it was just trying to figure out what the 40 things are. But now that we figured out what the 40 things are we do well, I'm probably just going to do that the rest of the way now. But, I mean, this is even worse than last year. They were 19th in red zone touchdown percentage. They went to the red zone 9 times in that last game against the Saints and only scored 2 touchdowns. They had tons of opportunities. Now, do you feel a lot better if it's 3 for 9 and Juju catches that ball? And 4 for 9, you're like, oh, my God. Right. I mean, it is so funny how razor thin the margin is. 9 trips to the red zone is amazing. That's why we thought it was the best game they've played all year. I can't even imagine how I'd feel if they converted 2 more of those to touchdowns and dropped 34.
Well, that's what they were, very easily could have been at 34, 36. I'm just remembering, literally, these are things we said last year. It's funny to me just because a lot of this is not.
Year to year is different.
A lot of this, no, I'm just saying, the red zone issues that this is the exact same conversation we were having last year, and come playoff time, for a variety of reasons, it all came together. I know you're saying, well, they got better because of Rashee Rice. That is fair. I'm saying they can get better because they go trade for a wide receiver, because maybe, just maybe, there's a prayer out there that Hollywood Brown comes back late. Not Rice, but Hollywood Brown. Maybe. I'm not banking on it, but there's still a chance. He's the only guy, and Pacheco, too, let's not forget about him.
He will come back.
Will be coming back. And Pacheco, for sure. Brown is still probably a toss-up whether or not he's coming back week 16 or 15 or something like that. We just don't know.
Look, I'm probably going to get laughed at for asking this.
Oh, boy.
But since we're talking about the Chiefs, and you mentioned last year, and the same things that kind of apply in the division, this weekend, the Chargers and the Broncos play each other.
They do.
And as it sat right now, this very second, 5 weeks into the season, if the playoffs were to start just incredibly early for just no reason, if the playoffs were to start incredibly early for just no reason, 3 teams out of the AFC West would be in the postseason. Chiefs would be the number 1 seed. The 6 and 7 seeds would be the Broncos and the Chargers. Is the AFC West tougher than we thought?
What is it, like the AL
Those are
Central
two
is what
different.
you're
So
saying?
those are two different things. Like, do I think they're actually going to have 3 teams? No. Do I think that the Broncos have been scrappy and more competitive? Yes. Do I think that the Chargers, the first 3 weeks of the season showed that? Yes. Do I think the Chargers are coming back down to earth? Their schedule was soft early. That also is true. The only difference I'll say from how I evaluated this division so far that's changed for me is I'll give Sean Payton and the Broncos credit to this point. Like they are a bigger pain in the ass than I thought they would be for every team they're going to play this year. Right? I think that's fair. We watch them. You know, Bo Nix has been average, but also at the same time, he hasn't made the same mistakes I thought he would make, right? And so therefore they're in these games, they're more competitive. The Raiders change quarterbacks every quarter, so I don't think the Raiders will factor in.
They
The
had an open
Chargers
quarterback competition in the middle of the season. They're a
and the
joke.
Chargers, I still just think they're way too thin. We talked about this preseason. I think it still applies. They don't have enough horses there. Next year, they could be a problem. But this year, I don't believe they'll do that. The odds will tell you the Broncos are plus 154 to make the playoffs. The Chargers plus 136.
I'm actually surprised the Chargers are a bigger favorite because the Chargers have played 2 winning teams right now, the Steelers and the Chiefs, and mustered up 10 whole points a game against those 2 defenses. As in, they weren't really in those games significantly. Do you know who their 2 wins are against? The Raiders and the Panthers. You want to talk about the least impressive resume on the planet? It's that one. If your only 2 wins are against two future top 5 picks in the NFL draft.
Cincinnati has the worst resume.
Well, they only have 1 win.
Yeah, against Carolina.
So it's
they're 0-3 in the AFC.
So they would somehow they have a worse resume.
Tiebreaker wise,
but
they're
it's
in
only
trouble.
that. For those who haven't been watching the Broncos, they lost a close one to Seattle. Seattle's a tough one to figure out. They reek of like old Jeff Fisher 8-8 days, right? Where they're going to be 9-8 or 8-9, and they're going to beat some good teams and they're going to lose some to good teams. They're going to beat some bad teams. They're going to lose to some bad teams, and at the end, they're just going to be 500. The Broncos lost to the Seahawks and then lost to the Steelers to open the season in a close one. But then they kicked the Buccaneers' ass.
That was really impressive.
Managed to scratch out a 70-yard passing performance win against the Jets. That was not impressive. And then kicked the Raiders' ass. So, like, I'm not blown away. Like, they got 1 win where I'm like, wow, you did it. And then the other 2 wins are like, okay, I'll talk to you in a few weeks. But the one thing the Broncos have going for them, at home against the Chargers, winnable. On the road against the Saints, don't know if it's Spencer Rattler starting. At home against the Panthers. I mean, before their schedule takes a little bit before it gets, then it's Ravens, Chiefs, Falcons. But they've got a few games where they could build up some wins if they keep playing
If you look at
football.
other teams around them, though, like to be honest, so I thought at first it's a vehement. There's no way. If you look at the other teams around them, though, the Jets, we have no idea about right now.
Are they a bigger favorite to make the postseason than either of those teams?
The Jets have better odds to still make the playoffs. Yes.
So they're 1 spot out right now. Then it's the Raiders. Question marks. The Dolphins don't have a quarterback. The Colts defense stinks. Tennessee don't have a quarterback. Cleveland has Deshaun Watson. New
AFC
England,
stinks.
I mean, there might. And the Bengals are 1-4. There's legitimately a chance. I give it more of a shot actually after looking at the standings for both Denver and the Chargers to actually make it because there's a lot of questions about everybody else. Maybe
I think one of them. I think there's a chance one of them finds a way. And to your point about how weak the AFC is,
looking at the standings now.
Yeah, I think one of them. I still find it hard to believe that both, because remember they both still have to play Kansas City, and I know the Chiefs didn't sweep the division last year, but there's a decent chance, right, that the Broncos and Chargers at minimum have 2 more losses coming directly from the Chiefs.
So if you right now, if you were to say one's in, one's out, what team replaces them? Is it the Jets? Do the Jets get in? Do the Bengals somehow find a way to turn it around? Do you think the Colts come back? I mean, who in the world? That's what I'm getting at is, after looking at the standings, who do you think replaces them actually?
How long does Joe Flacco start for him? Because my answer might be the Colts.
That defense is terrible, though. Is the problem for the Colts.
I
30
would
seconds.
say, of course,
Yeah,
the Bengals potentially, unless they lose to the Giants this weekend. But I don't know if there's anybody else you can say. Yeah, I have confidence.
Miami, maybe if Tua comes back, they could be a postseason team.
Man. You think so?
They're only 1 game out. Look, I'm only saying this.
I know.
If this were a normal playoff year in which I thought the depth all the way down to 7 was good, I wouldn't even be entertaining this conversation. Similar to when I said I wouldn't be entertaining Drew's Bengals having any chance to make it. But the bottom of the AFC is weak.
The Dolphins, the tricky thing, the question with them will be, okay, so they're on a bye. They come back. If Tua's back week 8, and if he can make it the rest of the season,
probably then,
just for his own health, but like make it the rest of the season without getting hurt again, then I think the Dolphins, we know they have the talent. They just have looked. But the only thing that scared me about the Dolphins is I thought their head coach would still be able to make them look somewhat decent on offense. But if Tua's back and he's healthy the rest of the way, I think the answer might be that it's the Dolphins. It's just, I got to know, and we don't know, is Tua going to come back and play the rest of the year, or is Tua playing for like 3 weeks and then unfortunately there's another issue? Because then they're done.
Well, yeah, because then they got to go back to Tyler Huntley for
I
the
would
rest of the
say
season.
I would still right this second. I would still bet that's more likely the Dolphins make the playoffs than the Denver Broncos. You guys disagree with that?
I agree with
I think
that.
it's
I've
tough
not
to
been
say
blown
just
away
because
by
we
the
don't.
Knicks.
I think it's tough just because Tua is not playing. We don't know.
Fair.
I think that's
You know
more
what's funny
difficult.
enough about the reason why Denver's winning is not because Bo Nix is some superstar rookie quarterback. Their defense and the way that they've played defense is really good. Their defensive coordinator has done an excellent job.
Someone says,
That's what's really
someone
stood
says
out.
no, you all told me Tua sucked. Now you guys know how valuable he is.
I just know he's better than Tyler Huntley.
Yeah,
for the 7th spot in the AFC.
We're talking about for the 7th wild card spot. And yeah, Tua, the conversation was, is he a top 10 quarterback? The answer is no. Not is he better than Snoop Huntley, Tim Boyle, or Skylar Thompson.
Because he is better than those guys. I'm very
He
confident.
is, yes.
He's just a league average quarterback. He's 15th or 16th. But if you go from league average quarterback to the 40th best guy in the league, well, then yeah, he does have tremendous value if that's the case. Yeah, Denver's defense is what's really surprising. Pat Surtain is a absolute monster back there. And so that part of it is what actually stands out.
The second.
All you need to know about the Colts defense, by the way, is Trevor Lawrence almost threw for 400 yards, only had 6 completions, and Tank Bigsby ran for over 100. Joe Flacco almost had 400 yards passing, and they lost.
I've been buying Tank Bigsby stock for like 2 years.
Yeah,
About time. Starting to cash.
We had Charch on the show yesterday. Fantasy football-wise, he was like the #1 waiver wire pickup.
Charge was on him last year, I think, as a rookie.
That's what it was.
We both were.
Yeah.
I drafted him last year, then I drafted him 2 more times in my 4 leagues this year. And I've just been sitting. I almost thought about cutting him. And then all of a sudden he's good again. Man, well, he'll probably go back to get like 27 yards this week. That's how fantasy football works. It'll be him and Guerrero, right? I mean, those will be the 2 big pickups.
Yeah, from the Niners.
Whoever the new Niners running back is.
Isaac
Guerendo. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I think it's Guerendo.
Yeah.
Former Wisconsin guy.
And I'm sure he'll look great because that run scheme it makes just about anybody look great.
Yeah.
The only thing they lose is McCaffrey receiving aspect. Like none of those guys can catch the ball the way.
That's why it's harder for them to win, but they still get
He just went on IR, right? He's not like done.
McCaffrey?
Yes.
No, just waiting.
Achilles tendonitis, November is what they're saying. We'll see. November. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Pass.
Up next, let's
Drop
get to
his
what's
ass.
trending. We'll get you caught up on some other injuries. A big injury update out of New York with the Giants and their wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. We'll also get right back into the Royals and what this season has done for the future of that organization.
Cody and Gold.
And sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Looking for a new car? Make the decision I made. Go to Volkswagen Lee Summit, where you choose the offer. You can either pick no payments for 90 days on any new car. Pretty sweet, especially with, think about what's 90 days away, like Christmas and stuff. 0% APR for up to 60 months, which is actually the plan I went with. I like 0%. I'm not going to apologize. Or Volkswagen Lee Summit will double your down payment, where $3,000 becomes $6,000. Look, Volkswagen Lee Summit has a huge selection of new cars. I went with the Tiguan, a little bit bigger than my previous car. I was driving a Jetta before. But they've got Tauses and Jettas and Atlas Cross Sports, anything you might need out of a new family car. When we were looking to shop, looked all over the place. What happened was we were getting ready to take 2 road trips. We were going to take my daughter to dance in St. Louis. So we're like, 4-hour drive. And then my family's cabin, we were going to drive 8 hours across Colorado. And I'm like, I can't keep taking this 12-year-old Jetta that I've been driving since it had about 20,000 miles on it. And I wanted something new because I wanted a car maybe I could pass off to my daughter when she was 16. I'm dead serious that was a consideration, that I wanted this car to be in such great shape 8 years from now I could still drive it. That's why I went back to Volkswagen, a car I had driven for 10 years before, and why I went to Volkswagen Lee Summit is the service and selection and deals that they offer. Again, I went with 0% for 60 months, but you could either do that or pick no payments for 90 days or double your down payment where $3,000 becomes $6,000. Pick your new car, pick your new promotion. Go to VWLeeSummit.com.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other, and for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Kansas City, it's Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings, located off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, October 11th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's Derek Johnson, and this season, Sheep Metal Workers Local Number 2 are awarding one lucky school a $15,000 facilities enrichment grant. Tell us in 100 words why your school deserves the grant at helpmymocanschool.com and make this the best school season ever.
If you had the crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You'd just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high, or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity, and you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high, and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
I love this business, really. I love seeing the look on a guy's face the first time he sees the ring we created. The custom ring that's going to say to her what he can't say with words. The ring she'll show off to her family and friends and wear for the rest of her life. Yeah, I love it. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and I see a lot of it. In fact, we're having our best year ever. I love that, too. More people are trusting House of Diamonds than ever before. They come for our one-of-a-kind custom jewelry, to be sure, but they also come for a better diamond at a better price because we only carry the top 5% in each diamond grade, priced direct from the cutter. In fact, a new customer recently compared our diamond to a so-called higher-graded and more expensive diamond at a store down the street. Our diamond was noticeably better in color, brilliance, and quality. No surprise. You don't last 3 decades as a family business charging more for less. House of Diamonds, still on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Touchdown, Renner! Almost Andy Reid here. You know, a few years ago, my wife surprised me with tickets to a Halloween ball. And guess what? That night I discovered a new passion. Now I've added to that passion, cheering on the greatest team with the greatest garage door company of all time. Renner offers top-notch repair services, new doors, and LiftMaster openers. It's the perfect 3-peat forward and back RENNER with Renner. You'll stay on the championship track. Visit rennerdoor.com.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact... every bite is better with Pepsi.
What if I told you that there was a single management software that could handle your CRM, accounting, manufacturing, marketing, inventory, sales, and everything in between for a fraction of the cost of the dozens of disconnected platforms most companies rely on to manage their business? Sounds pretty good, right? Well, that's Odoo. Odoo is the end-all be-all for any business of any size, and it's ready to help your company reach the next level and beyond. Learn more at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc. All rights reserved. Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's.
What's up? It's Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Monday during the season with C-Dog right here on your home of the Chiefs. 96.5, The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Of course, number one on What's Trending, the Royal season came to an end last night in the ALDS. They lose to the New York Yankees in the series 3-1. We'll get right back into the Royals and talk bigger picture about this season and hopefully, right, the springboard that it could provide. But it was pretty simple why this series went the way it did. It was pretty evident. We talked about it throughout the series, and that was got to get more out of your 2, 3, and 4 hitters, and they just didn't. Plain and simple.
We'll talk more about it, like you said. I think you could argue that the pitching got the job done. They only let up 3 runs last night, but unfortunately, based on the way the offense was going, they were just going to need more to their starting pitching, and their starting pitching is what got them there. So we'll talk about it more in a minute. Next up on What's Trending, local college football this weekend. K-State in one of the bigger games of the week. It's not Ohio State, Oregon, but K-State heading to Colorado. A now surprise 4-1 Buffaloes team is a 4.5-point home underdog to K-State. That game will kick off at 9:15. And you will take on UMass at 11. KU off this weekend.
That's a late game out in Colorado. I think that'll be fun to watch, though. Next up on What's Trending elsewhere in Major League Baseball today, Game 5 of the NLDS. The deciding Game 5 between the Padres and the Dodgers. 7:08 first pitch. And then tomorrow it'll be the deciding Game 5 of the other ALDS. That'll be the Tigers and Guardians. 7:08 first pitch. And then we know who's awaiting. The Mets awaiting the winner of the Dodgers-Padres game. And unfortunately, the Yankees awaiting the winner of that Tigers and Guardians series.
Next up in What's Trending, preseason college basketball. Kansas Hunter Dickinson has been named Big 12 preseason player of the year. They've also been picked to pick the conference. But, funny enough, they weren't the only local team picked to win their conference.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you guys saw preseason number 1 in the Summit League. UMKC Roos.
How about those Roos?
Number 1 preseason poll, baby.
There you go. That's your guy.
Returning their leading score from last year. Scored 15 points a game. Number 1 preseason poll. Suck it, South Dakota State. They were number 2.
Are we going to a game?
They
are
lost
we going to do it?
They lost them to Kansas.
We're going to do a little Cody and Gold, day at the Sweeney Rec Center.
Yeah. You guys want to? Everybody want to make a day of it? 913-586-7965. We'll pick a game.
Okay.
If the Cody and Gold listeners want to come down and watch some Roos basketball with me, although I'll be honest, I'm going to try to set half court for that. I got to try to get one of those tables at half court.
You're a professor now, so you should be able to, get us some good seats. How about they play on a Wednesday night against Idaho? It's the Big Sky Summit Challenge.
Against the Vandals, huh?
Uh-huh.
Was Idaho a rival of anyone when you were in Boise State?
Boise State.
Are they
don't like
State
each other. They don't like each other.
I can see that.
How was your NIL thing?
They never responded.
They never responded. And now I'm a professor at the university, which makes me feel like I'm really not allowed to do it, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
Why would you not?
I don't think you can just I don't know. You know what? Honest to God, it's the Wild West. You probably can. I'm not sure. Just pointing out that
UMKC doesn't delve into those sketchy behaviors.
They should
Lastly,
do as sketchy things as possible to win.
Lastly, on what's trending, finally the news we were waiting for, all this stadium conversation, but I just wasn't sure about how fans perceived Arrowhead at all.
Okay.
Until the USA Today's top 10 NFL stadium list came out today, I just wasn't sure, and now I am. Arrowhead Stadium was named the best NFL stadium by readers of USA Today. So no need for a new stadium. No need for renovations. Case closed. That's what the text line told me.
The people have spoken.
The people have spoken as well. Frank White spoke as well. I mean, it's all settled now. We are incredibly proud of Arrowhead Stadium and all it represents. Quote, the stadium's legacy is built on the loyalty and enthusiasm of the fans who fill its seats every week. I'm confident and excited for Arrowhead to continue being the home of the Kansas City Chiefs for generations to come. That's it. We were all just waiting for the USA Today readers poll to come out. Now there is no need to worry about it. No need to put any more money in the stadium. Everything is solidified. Good to go.
They actually, in a lot of ways, this even clarifies that they didn't even need those renovations. Leave Arrowhead exactly like it is.
That's right.
Pre-renovation, number one, numero uno.
I hope
did you hear that endorsement? That's Jackson County legislator Frank White.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. Who knows it better than that? Played next door for a number of years.
That's exactly right. I hope just the next Chiefs game, I think it's a Monday night game against the Bucs. I hope they just on the stadium they have a wrap and it's
number
just like
one USA Today readers poll.
Yeah, you know how like on books or video games they put like game of the year, they put like a gold sticker on it. You know, like for a book they put New York Times bestseller sticker.
Yeah.
Arrowhead just gonna have a giant sticker that says USA Today Reader's Choice winner. Yeah,
I was thinking
very
like
official stuff.
According to the
Newbery
readers,
medal.
there's a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
According to the readers, yeah.
I'd look. It's a listener online poll. I don't.
No, it's very official, Cody. It needs to be taken seriously. How dare you?
Don't discredit
Number one.
that list.
Number one. What was number two? Lambeau?
Lumen Field, maybe in Seattle or something.
Oh.
It was number 2. Yeah, number 3 was Empower Field. Number 4 was M&T Bank in Baltimore. 5 was the U.S. Bank up in Minnesota.
Forgive me, but what's
6?
Empower Field?
Empower Field was
That's
Mile High, Denver.
Mile High.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's yeah. That's what's trending.
So we're going to a UMKC game together? Can we get Minzies on the show the day we go?
Sure. Fine. Yeah.
Or the day before. I don't know if he'll do interviews on the day. He's got to focus on the days he's got to coach. I don't know if he'll do an interview the day he has to coach. You know?
Yeah.
Minzy's turning this program around, you know?
I'm pretty sure he'll come on the day of the game.
That guy's been in some NCAA tournament. Marvin Menzies knows how to win. They needed a coach like this. I wanted him to get long before, like I'm dead serious, long before he actually came back and has now had like another rebound. When he was like just on the street and been like kicked out for violations from the NCAA, I want him to get Samson. And that was like before. But that was when he was like on the street and nobody was hiring him, right? Because he had just gotten in all that recruiting violation stuff. All the things that are now clearly above board by NIL standards. But I'm like, just get anybody who will just like do whatever it takes to win at UMKC. And now I got to live in that life. Same rule applies as always. I will not be on this show if UMKC ever makes the NCAA tournament because I will be traveling to the city in which they will be playing in the NCAA
What if
tournament.
they play in Kansas City?
A thing they have never played
They won't put them in Kansas City. They're going to be like a 15 seed or
The
14
UMKC
seed. They're
against
They're
KU.
not going to put them in Kansas. They're not going to. Yeah, 14
Put a
or
13 next to their name, okay?
Okay.
Put some respect
They
on
won't.
their
They
name.
will not put a 13, 14, or 15 seed in Kansas City.
No, probably not.
I don't think that. I don't think that would happen. That'd be incredible for you.
They'd have to be like the 8 or the 9.
Will you
or
buy?
the 16?
We'll go to the game.
like
You got to. Will you
Connecticut.
buy Drew and I some Rue gear, please?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Professor.
I'll actually do us one better. I mean, not one better. It's the same for you, but it's better for me. I will reach out to the athletic department, see if I can get us some gear.
Okay.
Get us some Rue.
I'll rock Kansas City's team.
We're all Rue fans this year. They're number one preseason in the Summit League.
That's right. I should
Better
stop
not
saying.
disappoint.
I should stop saying UMKC. Excuse me. The Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Brewers. I should do that.
Add that to the batch of college gear that I got, yeah.
Man, I start teaching there, and they're number one in the Summit League at the same time.
Oh my
coincidence
goodness!
here.
Next thing you know, you're going to sing a song about them, and they're going to make the tournament. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll check in with our Royals insider, Josh Venier, who, of course, had an extended postgame last night. I was driving home, as you were as well, and after the game, we were listening to some of the postgame callers trying to really describe the feeling of Royals fans, and we'll take your texts on this, 913-586-7965, because, look, we know why they got eliminated from this series. Yeah. 2, 3, 4 were not good enough. Bobby, Vinny, Salvi were not good enough in this series. They're not in this position without them, but they weren't good enough in the series. The New York Yankees were a better baseball team in this series. I think what is so frustrating and obviously disappointing is, one,
you still could have won.
I thought after Monday night, they evened it up. They came back to Kansas City. Felt like, you know what? One, they were in just a really good position, but you felt like at some point in time, one of those three players was going to step up. But they also went up against Garrett Cole last night, who was much better than on that Saturday outing, and he pitched like I hope we would see one of Reagan's, Lugo, or Waka pitch, which was go 6+ innings, because I think it was 6 innings for Garrett Cole. Was that his final stat line?
Felt like he could have gone 9 if it was a regular season
He was
game.
dominant. You know, I'm not saying that the starting pitching was bad. No, it wasn't bad. But it wasn't dominant. And they were dominant, Cody, during the regular season.
One of the 3 best rotations in all of baseball. So the truth is that the blame lies in both areas because they played fine defense. That was not the issue. The base running, something we typically credit them for, they didn't have enough base runners to make a difference in the base running. The Yankees had more steals in this series than the Royals. The Yankees had 4 steals. The Royals had 2. Just 2. Just 2 steals, just kind of out of nowhere, right? Nothing that moved the needle or did this. But the starting pitching was fine. I would say fine enough to win most baseball games based on the way baseball games typically go. You'd probably win 115 games if your starting rotation only gave up, or your entire pitching staff only gave up 3 runs a game like they did in this series. But because the offense had not had time to find itself again, they weren't able to do that. What I think this kind of boils down to is, unfortunately for I think the Yankees are the better team in the series.
Mm-hmm.
They were probably the better team all year. But when you look at how but the Royals still could have won the series. It's baseball, right? So where did it go? They lost a 2-run game last night. They lost a 1-run game the night before. They lost a 1-run game in game 1. It's not like this wasn't a close series. Every damn game was close. I honestly think what happened was their offense, and the numbers support this, fell apart when Vinny Pasquantino got hurt. I mean, it was a disaster. It fell apart when Vinny got hurt. Give me the stat real quick.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw it with our eyes. So some of you will be like, I don't even need stats to know it. I just saw it. But, for example, in the month of August even, Cody, they were hitting 268, 317 on base, 460 slug, right? 145 RBI, 41 homers. That was August. September/October, 15 home runs, 68 RBI. Average was down to 204. Ooh. On base 275, slug 302. We can go through the entire season. I mean, there was never any other month where they dropped below. June was they hit 229 batting average. September and October was 204. You know, the RBIs were cut in half at least compared to any other month. So, yeah, I mean, we all saw it. I mean, everybody saw that. It's just the numbers are pretty jarring to look at.
And while I don't think Vinny was 100%, and I'm sure he would tell you that, he had admitted after the game that he was going to be able to play first base again in the ALCS had they made it there. So I don't think he was that far off from being healthy. I think what happened was they lost all their offensive mojo because Vinny was gone, and they didn't have enough games to refine it. If this injury happens in July and they go through this stretch, they go through a terrible July, nobody can hit because Vinny's gone, and then in August, Vinny comes back, and they got like 30 days, 45 days to have a run-up, to get used to what the offense is again with Vinny in it. I think this series is maybe won by the Royals, truthfully. But because they didn't have the normal run-up, they had 2 games and then 2 more games. You know, they had 4 games, 5 games to sort through offensive problems that had plagued them for a month on a player coming back at maybe 80, 85%. We don't know. Obviously, it's hard to put a number to it. That just cost them. I just think that I think the Yankees were the better team. The truth. They pitched better. Their bullpen dominated. And they scratched across enough runs, more than the Royals, in order to win this series. They got beat. It stinks, but they got beat.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the text line, and I think it's a simple way to sum up just where we're at now and how we view this team currently, the frustration of now, but also short-term frustration, disappointment, understandably so, of course. Long-term, though, optimistic. How can you not be? I mean, that's the difference of maybe why, like, I'm bummed out, trust me, but why you're not maybe feeling it as much as you would have after the 2016 season where you knew everybody was done and out of here. Bobby's not going anywhere. He's 24. He's going to win an MVP award at some point in the next couple of years. Vinny Pasquantino will be back and healthy. Salvador Perez, I don't know if he'll have as good of a season, but he's back, right? Cole Reagans, Seth Lugo. Keep going. You know what I mean? Like, Michael Massey, who had a great postseason for this team. Lucas Urseg is closing for this team next year. He's not going anywhere.
Under contract for 4
you know what I mean?
years,
Like, just keep going. You're not losing everybody. This thing isn't falling. It's like, oh my gosh, it didn't happen this year. This thing is over. We got to wait 9 more years to get back to the postseason.
You know what's still great about this team is that going back 2 years ago when they won 56 games, and what they self-proclaimed was an evaluation year. The players they stuck with in the evaluation year worked this year. They did. And those are the exact same players who will be back again. They evaluated Cole Reagans. It worked. They started with him. They knew that their starting pitchers weren't good enough, so they went out and got Lugo. He'll be back with the team. Maybe Walker. We'll see. We can get into that more as time goes on. They took a look at Bubic and stuck with it. They evaluated Brady Singer and stuck with it. He's under contract. He doesn't have to go anywhere. Salvi and Massey and Michael, the young parts, like you mentioned, all of those were evaluated. It worked. Can I ask, I guess this is I see the people who want to, like, talk about the game a little bit more, and then you and I can talk about how this is overall just a win. It just is. And this season was a win. Is there anything you would have done differently in the series? I see people be like, I wish they would have used DeYoung. And, like, would you have not started Walker and turned to Singer because he wasn't good in the first postseason start? Would you have changed the order in a fundamental way? Would you have benched Yuli and started for me? Is there anything you would have done differently than the approach the Royals took? Because I'll be honest, I wouldn't have.
There's
the
not
approach
much,
they
man.
took is the approach I would have taken.
It doesn't always mean the results are there. I think sometimes we look, it's a results-driven business. We all get that, right? That's how ultimately everybody is judged. But it doesn't mean the logic in some decisions was bad just because the result wasn't there. And I thought we saw that play out throughout the Yankees series. I'll go back to Angel Zerpa in the first outing in the series versus the second outing in the series. Same decision.
Same guy, same.
One result was positive, one was negative. He couldn't throw strikes in one. He was great in the other. I mean, so both the same decision. You know, I know there were some people yesterday that wanted Vinny down on the lineup route. I still understand why he was where he was at. You know, do we think that if you moved him down to 6 that suddenly the result of the game would have been better? I disagree. I really don't think it was.
I thought that was playing to lose instead of playing to win. If you were going to make that decision, I would have never done that.
You know, a lot of people mentioning Freddie Fermin. Give him credit. He had an unbelievable season. He really did. But the final 3 weeks, he wasn't hitting.
And that would have taken Yuli Gurriel out of the lineup. Is that something you wanted to do?
So no, Freddie deserves props. He had props for a great year. He really did. But he was not hitting down the stretch of the season, carried over to and that's why he didn't get an appearance in the postseason. I'm sure he's bummed about that. But certainly wouldn't change anything about the starters and how they laid out the rotate. It was laid out perfectly. Couldn't have dreamt of a better scenario. It was what we all wanted going back to the Orioles series and the Yankees series. Set it up for Reagans in Game 1 in Baltimore, for Game 1 or Game 2, I guess it was in New York. No, I mean, ultimately the New York Yankees had the 1 or 2 timely hits that the Royals never got. Never got in the series, or at least the last couple of games.
The only couple of times in the last 2 games that I thought they would do something that I probably would have done is I probably would have pinch hit for Michael. He's just I would have gone for the guy who could maybe just accidentally put one in the seats. You know, you've got DeYoung, you've got Renfroe, and Renfroe didn't have a good couple of final weeks either. But sometimes I'll take that shot at the one final swing of the bat when it was the 7th or 8th inning. I'd probably do that. And I saw somebody say, maybe I just let Tommy Pham lead off for every game.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Pham was great. I mean, he also, the numbers against Garrett Cole was what it was. I mean, they matched up with Garrett Cole well. My only thing with what you're saying, like, hey, pinch hit for Michael out of the lineup.
So small.
He had 4, but also, he had 4 hits. He's now tied with George Brett and some other greats in franchise history for most postseason hits. I mean, I know, look, we're all looking for answers. Like, what?
I'm just saying, like, of all the things, it's mostly small.
Yes.
Like, that's all. I mean, I was just asking because I see everybody being like, well, why didn't they use DeYoung, or how did Daniel Lynch not get in there for me? And I'm just like, truth is, if you'd put me in Q spot, there's a 95% chance I maybe make the identical decisions.
Yeah, I mean, the Tommy Pham thing, Tommy Pham leading off, I understand he had 3 hits yesterday, but also do we forget that the day before Michael Massey had a triple and was seeing the ball, like we're just ignoring that
the
too.
Best player for maybe the middle of postseason.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When your team loses, obviously there doesn't mean there's. Would you like to have tried something differently? Because we know the result is they're eliminated? Sure. Do I think it was a wrong decision? No. Yeah, would I like to try something differently because we know the result with that didn't work? Yeah, I'm with you guys. Let's try something different because I maybe there's something else that happens. But acting like it was the wrong decision, I just disagree. What was disappointing, I think, honestly, other than the big three in the lineup not contributing, was a big factor for this team and their success was when they did get on base, and I know they didn't get on a whole lot, they were able to steal and be aggressive, and that was really not a factor in the series outside of maybe was it game 1, I guess. Maybe there was game 1. Other than that, there wasn't. I think the Yankees stole more bases than the Royals did in this series. 4-2, something like that.
If I could just change one call, I would just call Jazz Chisholm out. And then maybe they win that game too, and we're heading to New York. But, that's the way these series go sometimes. Small things kind of alter.
Someone says they would have put a dome over the K just for last night, so we would have had a home run last night.
How are they going to manage that in one night? Just like a tent?
Yeah.
Pham has his hands on his knees as he leads off of first base. The 1-0 pitch. Isbell swings, and it's a fly ball. Deep right field. Back goes Soto to the fence, and he's got it.
That call hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Vinny Pasquantino spoke after the game. He said the same thing. I didn't hear what Vinny said. He thought he got it. He's like,
that's Bobby basically said the same kind of thing.
He's like, I thought he got it. Like we're all in agreement. It's like, I thought he got it. I thought that was good enough. I mean, and these guys play at Kauffman Stadium all the time. They know what it sounds and looks like when a guy puts in the corner. I thought Kyle Isbell got it. I mean, the second off the bat, I'm like, oh. The only thing that gave us pause as like it was getting closer to the fence versus like the TV view was, man, Soto looked awfully comfortable standing there, like he thought the ball was coming to him on the track. He wasn't getting up to the fence like he was getting ready to have to jump up to snag it. He saw it pretty well off the bat, sadly.
Yeah, the one thing I guess we didn't bring back up today, but we brought up after game 1 or on Monday's show, which was just the decision to send Salvi still is one that'll sting.
Yeah.
Around third, right? He was out by a mile. There would have been bottom of the second or top of the second inning. Nobody out, bases loaded.
Talk about the butterfly effect on that one. The calculus on that game changes a million times over depending on what you do there.
We'll talk more about this series, also bigger picture. Josh Venier, our Royals insider, is going to join us next right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Cap off NFL Week 6 with a chance to win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on Monday Night Football. How about a same-game parlay for Bills and Jets? Garrett Wilson to go over his receiving yards total. Dalton Kincaid an anytime touchdown. James Cook over his rushing yards. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
Tackle your airport parking needs at Park & Go. When it comes to airport parking, Park & Go is your MVP. Don't fumble around with uncovered parking. At Park & Go, all spots are covered, so your car is always protected from the elements. Need a quick handoff to the airport? Park & Go shuttle service is ready to take you to the terminal in no time. Covered parking, speedy shuttles, and a winning experience every time. The perfect repeat for airport parking. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and operated.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Vanguard is 100% client owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc. All rights reserved. Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards golf lessons to become a scratch golfer. Progressive cannot guarantee that you will ever become a scratch golfer. Scratch golfers are really, really good. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, and sure, you could put that money towards lessons, but if you can't hit the broadside of a barn and think you're going to become a scratch golfer, you're delusional. Sorry, just telling it like it is. Savings? Maybe. Scratch golfer? Don't hold your breath. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. It's universally accepted that golf is hard. Progressive cannot guarantee improved performance on the course.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, just a couple notes from the NFL to pass along in addition to what we had in What's Trending. Malik Neighbors ruled out. Giants wide receiver going up against Drew's Cincinnati Bengals. Also the Colts ruling out Jonathan Taylor. And about a minute or two ago, Tom Pelissero reporting that Will Levis will, in fact, start on Sunday for the Titans against the Colts, according to Brian Callahan. There was some noise about maybe Mason Rudolph based off of the play of Will Levis, but that is not the case. So at least one more week of Will Levis in the Mayo cologne and everything else that
he's
got
4
going
for
on.
4 in memes, so you know maybe one more chance to hit that mark. And did you mention that Russell Wilson?
I did not.
Okay, because that's the other note is that Mike Tomlin had said that Russell Wilson is fully healthy, but will serve as the team's number 2 this Sunday.
They finally said that.
Yep. So right now, remember he kept putting it away, and he's like, "We'll talk about it when we get there. When he's healthy, I'll have this conversation." I still think he's going to have to earn the job for the next month. But as of right now, they have a choice between 2 healthy quarterbacks, and they chose Justin Fields.
Coming up in about 12 minutes, we'll get to the random question of the day. But let's get right back into the Royals, who, of course, had their season come to an end yesterday. And nobody better to talk to about that. And looking ahead to the future than our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. He's brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you, baseball fans. Let's just start with this series, and we can get broader. Vern, just overall, what was the biggest difference? Was it just 2, 3, 4? Was it the pitching? What do you actually put your finger on as the reason the Royals are not still around?
Well, they weren't as good as the Yankees in every single facet. The best starting pitcher in this series was Garrett Cole. The best reliever was Luke Weaver. Second best was Clay Holmes. Third best was Tommy Kahnle. The best bat was Giancarlo Stanton. The best player was, we could debate Gleyber Torres or Juan Soto or Anthony Volpe. You arrived in the ALDS on the backs of Seth Lugo, Cole Reagans, Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi, and outside of a solo bomb from Salvador Perez, all 5 of those guys fell short of the standard that they've set for themselves this season.
We were talking in the last segment, like, hey, is there one decision you would have made differently, that you actually think would have led to a different result in the series? Is there any one that comes to mind?
No. I mean, we could use the benefit of hindsight and don't send Salvi back in game 1, and who knows how that thing turns out. But hindsight, I was thinking that in the moment. We talked about it on the post-game show, but I'm certainly not going to lay the series loss at the feet of Salvi or Vance.
When you look at what the Royals pitching staff did, I think you can make an argument, Vern, that overall, 3 runs a game over the last 3 games, that should get you a win most of the time. I think the problem was that after this series started to develop, we understood that it was going to take one of those early season, mid-season performances from their aces in order to get a win. I think when it came down to it, because the pitching staff got him here, and I won't be mad at them because they just came up short this time because they're not here without him. But even though they didn't give up that many runs as a pitching staff, they still needed more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, not one dominating outing from anybody in your rotation when they were giving you dominant outings, basically 2 out of every 3 games. And as we all know, come October, you're only facing good pitching. So an offense that, for the majority of the season, all the heavy lifting was done by Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi. I mean, throughout the month of September, people, what's going on with this Royals offense? Well, what are you talking about? For the first 5 months of the year, it was led by 3 guys. I mean, 3 guys were on pace to drive in 100, and then you had a bunch of 40-year-old Yuli Gurriel's hitting in the 5 spot for your playoff team. If that doesn't show just how important Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi were, I don't know what else will. Or, looking at this offense in the month of September without Vinny, and they were statistically the worst in all of Major League Baseball. Again, it just goes to show you how they arrived in the ALDS. Elite starting pitching, elite defense, elite team speed, 3 clutch bats, and then a below-average offense, a below-average bullpen that picked it up of late. You needed more from the rotation. You needed more from those big 3. But again, because you're in the postseason, you're down to the final 8 teams. And the Yankees have, like I mentioned, the best starter in this series and 3 of the best relievers. It's going to be difficult for Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi to put the team on their back and carry them to victory. Because honestly, they really didn't do that all that much this season. They teamed up with that rotation and found a way to win some tight games. And obviously unable to do so against a team that I'm pretty sure we all spent a majority of the 6-month regular season saying the Yankees and the Orioles, the Phillies are just a cut above. Their World Series are bust. Royals are not at that level. Now, that's not to say when this series was 1-1 coming back to Kansas City, I told you guys I felt as if the Royals were in complete control. So I'm not acting as if, David against Goliath. No, the Royals had a chance to win it, but there's certainly nothing to hang your head about in falling short against this team.
How will you view Bobby Witt Jr.'s season as far as, what will you remember it as? Obviously, Vern, it's one of the single greatest statistical season any Royals player's ever had. I've decided that I'm just going to remember it as the emergence of a superstar, right? It was the first time I knew he was not just a very good baseball player, but he was one of the best baseball players on the planet. I kind of view this as this statistical season will go down as the year Bobby Witt Jr. became a superstar.
Yeah, it's the greatest regular season we've ever seen from a Kansas City Royal player, and maybe second only to George's 1980 and 85 season as far as the greatest year that a Royals ever had. Bobby had a chance, if he got his team to the World Series, to usurp both of those campaigns from George Brett. But listen, you and I, Gold, most people listening, we're going to remember this as a American League MVP runner-up season for Bobby Witt Jr. But outside of Kansas City, the game is the game. When Bobby's name is brought up, they'll talk about his 5-tool talent, but they'll also talk about his 2 hits in the ALDS against the New York Yankees. That's how it goes. When you're that player, you're going to have an extra bright spotlight shining on you. Just like if Aaron Judge, if the Yankees lose this series, that's all Judge hears all off season. Now he has a chance to completely rewrite his October legacy coming up in the ALCS. So, no, I'll remember the great campaign from Bobby Witt Jr. I don't think he will. I don't think his offseason workouts are going to be fueled by, I was the runner-up for the MVP. I think they're going to be fueled by that celebration that he watched last night as he was the last guy inside the dugouts. And as we've all learned over the course of this season, and maybe even longer than that, Bobby's cut from the same cloth as Patrick Mahomes. And a caller brought it up last night. The D Ford game against the New England Patriots is what he's likening this season to for the Kansas City Royals. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes went scorched earth on the rest of the NFL ever since. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bobby Witt Jr. somehow even better next year. Honestly, even better in all 5 facets. Somehow, the arm, the glove, the bat, the power, the speed, I think it's all going to be better as he turns 25 coming up in about 8 months.
I definitely like the comp from you and the caller then last night on postgame as we're talking to Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. He's brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you, baseball fans. To that point about Bobby, but also just looking at this team moving forward, I wonder, today obviously stinks and fans should and are disappointed and everything like that, but looking ahead because of Bobby and other pieces that will be back next year, do you think it won't sting as much, a week or 2 from now? Also, because it doesn't feel like, anything can happen in baseball. I don't think we're waiting 10 more years for them to get back to the postseason.
Yeah, I don't think this loss stings until 2026.
Okay.
Now, next year, even if you fall short of the postseason, there'll be disappointment, but it won't be, we're in 2026. If they're struggling, if they can't get back to October, I think that's when you start to lament the opportunity that was missed here in 2024. Outside of Bobby Witt Jr., honestly, the thing that gives me the most hope for the future is the front office and the aggressive ownership. Yeah, Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo and Vinny and Massey and Mike Cal, you feel good about them, but, baseball's crazy. Life's crazy. Fluky things happen. Injuries pop up. It's tough. Seth Lugo's been Cole Reagans has already had 2 Tommy John surgeries, but the thing that allows me to agree with you that it's not going to be another 9 years before they get back to October is the job done over the past 18 months by JJ and John Sherman. Revamping a bullpen twice in 12 months, bringing in a 40-year-old 5-hitter, Tommy Pham, Robbie Grossman. I mean, you guys understand all the moves that have been made by JJ and the aggressive spending of John Sherman. I'm not saying he's going to spend another $110 million this offseason, but we've learned they're not going to sit on their hands and allow other teams to pass them by. Not that they're going to throw money haphazardly at issues, but when the opportunity is there to strike, I think Sherman and JJ have told you and shown you they'll do just that.
They probably got a month before they got to worry about it, Vern, but what is the very first thing you think the Royals have to do in the offseason?
I mean, you would. I don't know, man. I don't think anything really jumps out at you. You're going to lose Michael Wacha, likely to free agency. But that rotation next season still has Reagans and Lugo and Marsh and Singer and Bubic and Lynch, Kyle Wright. They'll all compete for a rotation spot. The back end of the bullpen's going to have Lucas Erceg and Hunter Harvey as the 9th and 8th inning guys, respectively. Hunter Renfroe's likely to pick. Hunter Renfroe's going to pick up his player option, so he's going to be back in right field with MJ in left and Izzy in center, Michael, Bobby, Massey, Vinny, Salvi, and Freddie behind the dish. There's nothing that jumps out to me, and boy, you got to fill that hole. You would like a proven bat, but I don't know if it's a must. Again, guys, I'm not trying to bring the show down, but if you've learned anything over the past 2 seasons, there is absolutely no reason to go all in ever on any one season. When I look at this team, I don't see a glaring hole. I know the offense and how bad it was in September, but let's let Vinny Pasquantino's broken thumb heal. Let's let Michael Massey get that back a break. Yeah, I mean, we would all like a bat. We would all like another reliever. We would all like another arm. But no, to me, there's nothing pressing for this team on day one of free agency.
Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. Appreciate you coming on every week, man. It's been a great season to have you on the show. Get a little bit of rest. And I don't know, are you guys doing a Royals special or anything coming up?
I don't plan on it, but we'll see.
My bad. That's my fault.
He's planning on doing a cocktail special tonight at his house.
Vern, next Wednesday, we need a Royals special. My fault on that.
Fill like 3 hours.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. That's Josh Vern. He obviously did a great job, as always, throughout the season. We've enjoyed having him on, and hopefully this is a normal thing in October. We just have him on every single day.
You are allowed to change your opinion before the season starts because we don't have the full answer. Gut instinct right now.
Yeah.
Do the Royals make the playoffs in 2025?
Yeah. We're still having the expanded playoff field, right? Nothing's changing?
Yep.
Okay, then
By
yes.
the way, they didn't even need the expanded playoff field to make the postseason this year.
I know.
They were in the playoffs even under the old condition. Well, I'm not saying it didn't get dicey. It definitely got dicey.
No, I mean, I think, a ton. The biggest concern I would have, if you're asking for my concern of 2025 on October 11th of 2024, would just be the health factor. That rotation stayed healthy pretty much all year.
Yeah.
And
they set career highs with Lugo, Reagans.
That would be it for me. Otherwise, they're going to be... The one thing we learned is the AL Central is going to be a problem for a while. These teams are going to be competitive for a while.
Tigers are young and good. The Guardians are a lot like the Rays in the sense that it doesn't really matter who's on their team. They're competitive and annoying.
Yeah.
White Sox stink. Good news for everybody. White Sox still stink.
Yeah. They will have the biggest turnaround in MLB history. The White Sox will go from, what was it? How many wins this year?
12? I mean, how many did they? I mean,
30, 37?
Do they get to 40?
I don't think so.
mean, they did set the modern franchise record for losses in a season, so.
They were 41 and 121.
Oh, they got to 40.
barely made it.
41 and 121. I mean, I've watched a lot of bad baseball teams.
Yeah.
I know the Royals won 56 games last year, and I know what it felt like to watch a team win 56 games. I cannot imagine what it would be like to watch a team only win 41 games. They finished 51 and a half games back in the American League Central.
Yeah.
There are only 162 games. They finished the season 5-5, however, so.
That's
Save
their season.
Save their season. Really feels like it was all worth it now, doesn't it? You know, now that they got that 5-5 and managed to do it. The only thing I would disagree with Vern is I still think they need one more pitcher, and maybe that might be old me thinking because, you know, I had started to kind of give up on some of these guys that they had drafted in previous draft classes who had come up and failed. And I think Walker will opt out. If they keep Singer, they're in much better shape. I think they probably will, but we'll see. That's just been a trade rumor, one that maybe is more fan-based than actual franchise-based. But, okay, Reagans, Lugo, Singer, you got something. We going back to the well? We going right back to let's see what Bubic has. Let's see what Lynch has. Let's see what a fully injured for an entire year Kyle Wright has. Let's see, you know, like, there's part of me that's like, yeah, you can build a rotation that way, but admittedly, that comes with far greater risk than the way you just did it here, where you had four guys who you knew could start right and would be available. And so I kind of feel like I'd want one more established starter. That's like the only move I feel like they have to make. I'd be interested in the bat too. But.
The outfield is still interesting. You know, I agree that Renfroe's, of course, going to opt in to the player option that he has. And I expect Isbell probably to play center. But still, are they good with this leaving the outfield the way it is? Or is there a move to be made to improve that? That would be something I would watch. Fern might be right. That's just not something that's all that feasible because you don't need to go all in for the to fix the outfield necessarily. But that would still be an area where I would love to see if there was an option to improve the outfield a little bit. But we'll see.
You know what I think it might end up being is the way we talk about wide receiver for the Chiefs. This is an apt comparison where you're like, I want Justin Jefferson, right? They want Juan Soto to come play.
Give me a Juan Soto, please. I'll take Juan Soto.
Yeah, or Anthony Santander or whatever, right? Some of the bigger names in free agency that are going to cost you $80 million to bring in here. And instead what it's going to be is an outfielder who can play 100. It's Darius Slayton. It's the outfielder who can play 110 games, switch in at DH, play either corner or outfield, maybe 5 times starts in center because it's a lefty on the mound and they don't want Isbell out there. And it's just the middle of the road, 110, 120 game outfielder that definitely makes you better. You are a better team and his splits are better and all of those other things, but it is not sexy on the page.
You're almost naming Jurickson Profar, basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
He's the guy.
Yeah, I think it might be more
switch hitter.
More in that vein than the like, what is the biggest name outfielder that the Royals can afford this second?
Yeah.
That's all. I'm saying it might end up that way.
Random question.
Some people on the video streams don't like it when I refer to outfielders as sexy, which I don't see what the problem is here. For you, Gold. For you, Drew, over in the text line, 913-586-7965. You can hit us up on those channels, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. We're at the Fan 965. Please like and subscribe our pages over there. Question every day is something I got asked in my new ride. So, as you know, I drive that Tiguan I got back in March. It has my previous car did not have any features. It was 12 years old. Your car has limited view. My car didn't even have Bluetooth. Your car at least has that.
Yes.
My previous car didn't even have Bluetooth. It was so old. But my new one does. But it also has like the little in-dash, GPS. And my wife said I was becoming too reliant on it. Said I use it too often. So the question I have for you today is, how often do you use GPS in your daily driving?
Only if it's someplace I've never been before.
If it's somewhere you've been,
then I don't. I
period.
If it's somewhere I've been, I don't care where I'm in the city. I can get to that place. Like I could be starting anywhere. I know how to get to that place.
So if you're starting from my house and you've been to this place, you're like, I'll figure it out.
The only time I use GPS if it's literally somewhere I have never been before.
I'll use it even to places I know where I'm going. Why? Not because I need it, but because I want it to tell me the fastest way.
Oh.
If there's accidents, if there's these things.
An argument.
I like clicking it on so that if there are problems, I like
Yeah, but
to.
you
I like
click
to
it
keep
on-
the free flow. I know the way I could go.
Click it on, and then you see the traffic pattern. If it's different, then you click it off. Like you know what I mean?
Someone said, "Are you too cheap to buy an Atlas?"
No, the Tiguan was the right size for me. Thank you.
My dad is an Atlas person.
Yeah, Cody's actually. You're talking about the car. I'm talking about. Cody's gonna actually pull out a map on the hood of his car and map out his route before he gets
You
in
ever
the car.
print out a MapQuest?
Of course.
That's
Back
right.
in the
In
day,
your life?
MapQuest was all you had back in the day before that was improvement upon actually going to AAA and grabbing a map.
When I was doing courier work, when I was like 18 years old for my dad company, we didn't have that kind of thing, GPS. He'd have to tell me where I was going. And I was like, hey, man, can you look this up? I don't know where the hell this place is. Like, I'm not going to be able to get there just off of, like, wits and hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to, like, guide me into this spot.
I think your argument about the live traffic thing is warranted. I would also, this goes back to my people don't like it in Kansas City, but we don't really have traffic in Kansas City. I know we like to think we do. We don't.
We don't.
We live in Houston. You need the traffic.
But every once in a while, something comes up. Lance, he drives.
like
He
an
says
accident.
he doesn't use GPS at all. Someone says every trip. Let you know about traffic, accidents. Sometimes they'll tell you if somebody's clocking. Like, everyone's someone clicks a little button, little radar guys up there.
Yeah.
Don't you like a little warning?
Do you actually ever report that on the ways? Like, you can be the one to alert?
No, the only one I ever click is they'll be like, it's a speed trap. And then it'll ask you on the thing, is it still there or is it not there? And if it's still there, I'll click still there.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not click?
Why-
Drew
why-
sounds
why
like
would you
he's
not
more
be
like
helpful?
me. Why not pull it up?
So
What's the harm? It's not like, what else am I looking at on there? It's just going to show me the roads?
Yeah,
it's no big deal.
It's got to be if I'm going someplace I normally don't go.
I mean, okay, so for me, I use it more often than not, I guess, but it's not like I look at it all the time. Like, I'll look in the morning, let's just say, because there's two different ways. There's two ways I can go. I can go 70 out and then eventually get in Metcalf, or I can go down 435, or 635.
And you like seeing which
Whatever
way's
it is.
faster. I
like
can go
seeing
two
which
ways too.
I like seeing which way's faster, and I have it up there, but I don't have it like on the dash where I need to follow directions, and I don't have the sound on either. I just pull it up and I check if I need to.
Someone says I drive and clean pools. Always use maps to see how much time I am from the next pool. Always helps me to know when to start slowing down or put stuff in my truck bed or take their time.
Well, I think if your job involves you consistently
Timing it
driving or whatever, then that makes sense.
Versus I'm just getting to
Yeah.
like the pool or whatever.
Cody, do you have sound? Do you have like Siri giving you directions?
No,
Or do-
that's
okay,
unmute.
I was
Are
gonna
you
say,
kidding me? God.
I do not
You
use
mute that?
my I do not
yes.
use my Australian
Absolutely
friend
not.
to tell me directions.
I'm not
Did
listening
you
to that
you
thing.
still have it on?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Look, what's so bad about having an Australian?
There's nothing
We
wrong
were
with it. I'm just
surprised it was an
thrown off by it.
Australian
That's all.
male,
Male as
accent
the-
as your GPS and Siri.
It feels,
Honestly, I
like
just wasn't
Steve,
expecting
it feels like Steve Irwin's talking to me a little bit, you know?
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Mm-hmm.
Someone says Cody's that Uber driver with nobody in the back seat. I'm not, you know.
Oh, like you have people sit passenger side. Like, can you?
Someone says it also tells you the speed limit because I never noticed it on the side of the road.
Someone said 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. is hell.
Those signs are all kind of everywhere.
Man.
3 p.m. to 6 p.m. is not hell
is
in
not.
traffic in the city.
It's not.
You should go to a real city with real. And look, I'm not saying there's no cars on the road.
Yeah.
And that you don't drive slower than you would at normal times.
Chicago.
All I'm saying is
Houston,
I've
like you
driven
said.
into
Our view
real
of
traffic
traffic,
cities
our,
and it's skewed.
yeah, our view of traffic is not. They would laugh. That's all.
They'd be like, man, traffic's really bad. You're like, you're still driving 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be that bad.
My favorite thing, the person they don't see the speed limit signs.
Some of them do give that to you.
I'd be a
on
little
the-
scared
yeah.
to be
No,
next
I
to
know
one
the
of them.
apps do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, yeah.
In fairness, there are moments where I'm driving and I think I know what the speed limit is, but I
Maybe
haven't
this is
seen
just
a
being
sign.
from here.
And if you
I
look,
feel like
then
maybe that's what it is. Like we've driven on these roads
if you're driving
enough,
like on
you
an
kinda
interstate or a highway, I think that situation comes up a little bit more because the speed limit signs are more spaced out in a way, I guess. Or unless you just are constantly trying to touch like 8, 9 over, and you're just pushing the limit, I guess. To where if it
lot
lowered
of
by
people drive
10 and you
that way.
didn't, so to where if you lowered it by 10 and you didn't notice it, you're going 15 over all of a sudden.
I'm either a speed limit guy or the speed of traffic.
We've
If we're
talked-
all going a little bit faster, I'll go a little bit faster.
Cody has no excuse ever to get a speeding ticket. He uses
never had a speeding
Cody
ticket.
uses
for you.
35 miles an hour, and Cody will turn cruise on to make sure he's
Yeah,
going
you do
35.
these cruise. That's nuts.
Especially if it's late. coming back from the K last night.
Wait, you just cruise the entire way home?
No. But it's like 11 o'clock, and then I come off of the highway on like Venier Road, and it's 40 miles an hour.
You'll set cruise?
And I just set it on 45, windows down, and kick it the rest of the way.
What?
No need to. Honestly, you know what drives me nuts? People who can't maintain their speed.
Well, I agree with that.
These jerks on the highway.
That's terrible, too.
Then I'm going 65, and they're on my ass, and then 2 seconds later, I got to pass them. Maintain your speed.
I agree.
So either figure it out with your own damn foot or set cruise control.
See,
like
here's
me.
where we differ. Cruise control on the highway, 1,000%. Yeah. Cruise control 35 down a random side street is weird. Like, what? Now, look, I guess, it's good you're not speeding.
Like a residential street.
I'm just imagining, Cody, it's like a 15 mile per hour like parking lot, and he's got cruise control on,
School zone, you're setting it to 25, yeah.
Let's speed through those.
All right.
Keep the kids safe.
Up next, it's Fan Club Friday. We're going to open up the cooler. We've got our friend Jeremy Danner, who's a big Royals fan. We'll talk some Royals baseball. We'll also have a couple drinks. That's next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Calling all Kansas City football fans to downtown Las Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October for the ultimate game day getaway. Huddle up at Overhang Bar with 96.5 The Fan for our pregame tailgates on Fridays with drink specials and giveaways, including a pair of game day tickets. Then catch all the action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge in the center of it all at America's favorite place to watch football, Stadium Swim, featuring 6 pools and a massive 143-foot screen. To book your Huddle Up experience, visit circalasvegas.com today.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings, located off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, October 11th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m., celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champ while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's Derek Johnson, and this season, Sheep Metal Workers Local Number 2 are awarding one lucky school a $15,000 facilities enrichment grant. Tell us in 100 words why your school deserves the grant at helpmymokenschool.com and make this the best school season ever.
It's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here now on 96.5 The Fan, telling you guys about my friends over at Window World. Window World is the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Pick up the phone right now and call Window World today at 816-799-0820 or check out the website, windowskansascity.com. And remember this, when you call Window World, be sure to mention that you heard this on The Drive with me, and you'll be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets during the upcoming season. You know they got some big games, and you're going to want to be there. So call my friends over at Window World. They're offering right now 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. In over 20 years of business, Window World has improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 54,000 homes right here in the Kansas City metro. Check out the website, windowskansascity.com. Pick up the phone today at 816-799-0820 799-0820 for a free home estimate. Call to be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets. Remember, Window World, simply the best for less. And the official window of your Kansas City Chiefs.
BetMGM presents Upping the Action with Jamie Foxx.
Yo, hockey's here, and it's colder than ice, like cold. But with BetMGM, I can heat the game up with overs, unders, parlays, and money lines, all from the comfort of my 102-degree hot tub. Now I'm really putting fire on the ice. This hockey season, download the BetMGM app.
And get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in Nevada, New York, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. for New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have over 20 years of experience servicing the KC Metro. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, as well as commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow Service. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
This is Gene at House of Diamonds. No paint-by-number custom jewelry, no bogus sales and financing offers, and absolutely no lab diamond ripoffs. Everything at House of Diamonds is real. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Fan Club Friday here on 96.5 The Fan. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Our good friend Jeremy Danner from Four Hands Brewing hanging out with us. Big Royals fan. We'll obviously talk some Royals baseball, see what's up with life. And whenever Danner's in studio, I know we're about to try something new, something great, and you brought some goods today, that's for sure.
I did, yeah. So it's stout season for us. That's kind of what we're known for, is these big, silly milk stouts. But we've also been doing a lot of cool hazy IPAs. And kind of exploring the intersection of adding fruit juice and fruit flavors.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to try this thing.
I want to try one of the seltzers, but I felt like I had to save one for Drew.
So this one, Incarnation Juiced. It's in pale ale, guava, pineapple, passion fruit. Let's crack this thing open here.
I went with the chocolate milk stout. Even though it feels a little too early in the season for me personally to be stout drinking, I'd like to do that when it's like 50 degrees outside, not 82 or whatever the hell it is outside.
The seltzer I got is a snow cone inspired blackberry and cherry
That sounds
seltzer.
delightful.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful.
Weather-wise, that sounds more appropriate. But also, Steven Spector raved about this, so I figured I'd give him a shot.
It's super
Are you a
good.
stout guy?
You know, I'm a beer guy. I like all of them. I think I probably gravitate more towards stouts when it's cooler. But there are crazy guys.
That's not
who
a
drink-
heavy stout, honestly.
Yeah, no,
That's not
it's
like...
drinkable, yeah.
That's good.
I mean, 5.5%, so it's not too high ABV. The body's not super heavy.
Yeah, it's good. I'm not going to complain. Plus, we're inside. I'm not having to drink this thing outside.
Right.
And it's very cold. How'd you keep this thing so damn
it's got
cold?
a cooler. It's a thing called a cooler.
It's crazy.
You put ice in it.
I didn't see it. It cooler. It seemed colder than normal.
It is very cool. It's refreshing. Definitely like this already. We're going to be sipping on this throughout the entire hour. All right, let's talk Royals baseball with you, man. Obviously, disappointing to end the season. It was a hell of a year, hell of a ride. 56 wins a season ago. You're a season ticket holder. You were at the game on Wednesday, you were telling me.
Yeah, I was there Wednesday. I took my family, got to take my 11-year-old son to his first postseason game. That was
that's
super cool. Yeah, I was
and
like,
you've been to a lot of baseball games, but not a postseason
right,
game.
yeah. That was the 191st Royals game the other night, but his first postseason game. So that was a super cool. Just explained to him, like, he's never been to opening day. He's always been to the last game of the year, and that's kind of a fun environment, too. But I'm like, it is going to be totally different. The intensity is going to be wild. And we have videos of him just losing his mind with the towel and freaking out. It was so cool to see that, through his eyes as you get to see these experiences again. But I also was excited because it's been, 9 years since we've been to a postseason game in Kansas City.
You didn't take him when he was 2?
I didn't. No,
didn't splurge.
I partied a little too much at those games. It was really weird being not hammered at a postseason game because it was so stressful in 2014 and 2015.
I'm going to drink through these problems.
Yeah, I have pictures from 2014 of us going into the game, taking pictures before the game that I don't remember taking.
Oh, jeez.
So we got after it in 2014 and 2015.
That was me more in the in 14-15, I was pretty much just working.
Sure.
So I wasn't doing a lot of that. Some of the regular season games, or there's a photo of me. There are a couple of games I got to go as a fan. So in 14, I went to the American League Championship clincher, the game 4 on the sweep. And then in 15, I got to go to the American League Championship. And in 14, there's a photo of me 3 sheets with a cigar in my mouth. I'm like, the hell am I smoking in here? I can just have a cigar leaving the stadium. There's a whole flask in the other hand. You're like, I was getting after it that day. I was having a good old time as they were heading to the World Series.
You can do whatever you want in the postseason.
They don't really stop. Although, one guy didn't get kicked out in front of us. So we thought he
somebody
said,
was getting kicked
I dare you to get your supervisor to a security guy.
No.
He said, I dare
To
you.
our
Now,
friend
he said it in
Lewis.
the 8th inning, so he got away
He
with
was
it.
taunting our friend Lewis, who did a great job clearing the way for our risers. Security guard Lewis, shout out to you. Did a great job the last couple nights.
We should
take care of us.
I
Take
honestly
care of
think
us.
we might have owed him a cash tip.
You were there Wednesday. I don't know if did you stay till the very end of the game Wednesday?
Of course.
Did you pay attention to the Jumbotron crowd vision right after the game?
I don't know that I
So
did.
Cody and I recorded a video, I don't know, right when the station launched.
Yeah.
In August.
96.5 The Fan, your
I did
home
see
for
this, yeah.
Kansas City
Okay.
sports.
And so it's a fun video, Step Brothers movie theme, but going through Royal stuff. Okay, cool. I'm not bringing this up just to say we were on the Jumbotron. Cody and I both agree they played it after the loss last night. It just you got to nix it. You got to nix it. So here we are, everybody's in a bad mood walking out, and we hear
do we just become best friends?
Favorite Royals player, Pasquantino, we're high-fiving, and it's nobody wants to hear this or watch this at the time.
Just read the room,
It's you gotta nix it at that point.
And this is not a knock. Game Day Ops does a great job at Kaufman saying, I'm going to need you to cut that video for losses.
It's got to go.
I'll actually, as a matter of fact, I'll cut a new video for losses that is me being morose and sad, whatever you need.
Dejected Cody on the
It definitely did not fit the mood. Yeah,
it's Charlie Brown and just my head's hanging low and I'm standing next to a doghouse and you're just fine. But that's you're right. It didn't fit the energy of it. But it's still cool. That's the whole thing is that all it makes me want is thirsty for more. Because fortunately for Alex and I and for most people in Kansas City, we've gone to a ton of Chiefs postseason games. I've been to postseason losses over the last 20 years. I've been to games in which they went to the Super Bowl. We've been personally to 3 different Super Bowls in which they won. We've had a chance to be in playoff atmospheres, and then you get playoff baseball back, and you're like, can't I do this all the time? The whole point of this, I'm sure we'll talk about this more, Gold, as the week goes on, was I really did subscribe to what John Sherman said about a wild card team because for 20 years, even though I want the World Series and I wouldn't trade it for the success that other teams have had in the regular season, what I honest to God wanted, though, was a team that made the postseason 3 out of every 5 years, 7 out of every 10 years, does this regularly so that it starts to feel more normal and that each given year you're just giving yourself another chance.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
giving yourself a chance to win a World Series. Maybe it didn't happen this year, but if you go next year, another chance. You get to stack opportunities.
That's kind of what Bobby Wood Jr. said to us, and Dusty was with us down in the clubhouse after the game. Listen to Bobby when he was asked about that, like bringing back playoff baseball to Kansas City and that being the standard.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's now not even the goal. That's reality. That's who we are now, and that's what Royals baseball is. That's just what we're going to keep working for. We're going to keep getting better each and every day throughout this off season, and so it's just going to be one step at a time. But this team is special, and I just want to say thank you to the fans coming out, and just it was a special year. And so, but yeah, like I said, it felt like a letdown. So there's a lot of bad taste in everyone's mouths, and so it's just going to be more motivation for us for the time to come.
Sitting there in the dugout watching the celebration, we talked about that with Vern Danner, and I think we've seen that happen a ton in sports. And for a player like Bobby, fast forward 5 years from now, hopefully they're in multiple playoff appearances, but like that moment right there might be something that fuels him the rest of his career.
It's huge. Yeah, I saw that picture on Twitter and Facebook and all over, and people are like, he should be more mad. I'm like, I bet he's plenty mad. Like, also, don't tell Bobby how to feel. Right.
Look, we were in the clubhouse. I can promise you, he was. They were emotional. There were multiple guys emotional about the result of that. And if you just watch the video we put on our station, like you can look at his eyes and you can tell he took it hard. I can promise you. I know sometimes people like want him. What do they expect? Like they're gonna just be throwing trash cans all over the place? Like
they want mad instead of sad because they're men.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, baseball's so weird because we tell baseball players like next pitch, next play, next inning, next game, but then you also want to hold on to that as to fuel you or whatever. But what's the balance of that? I talked to my son, like he struck out to end the game the other night. He's like, I lost the game. I'm like, no, dude, you had 2 hits, you had 2 RBIs, you stole 3 bases. You happened to strike out at the end of the game, but one person doesn't lose that game. It's about the games within the game. So it's this weird balance of like, we have to move on from each individual moment, but then also we know that that's going to be in his mind every day in the off season.
Yeah. Did you think though after Monday night when they evened the series back up, right? It's come back to Kansas City for 2. Pitching still been pretty good. Yeah, we all recognize the offense hadn't been great, but I don't know about you. I felt really good about where the series. How could you not? And I am surprised, of course, that 2, 3, 4 never got it going. That's still. I mean, that is very surprising. I get the offensive numbers in September. We just talked about them. We all saw it with our eye. It was a bad offense, but I still am surprised that they didn't need 7 runs, Danner.
No.
They needed 3 runs, and they just never could get that.
What if you score 5 runs in a postseason game? You have a pretty good shot at winning that game, and losing 6-5. That's tough too, man, to see it come that close. I mean, there's not like any one moment where we're like, this is where it all ended. We hit the ball hard, but we hit it at guys, and guys made good plays too. And I heard you guys talking earlier about Garrett Cole. He's a stud.
Yeah,
he was really good.
And now Cody doesn't have to get a tattoo. That's the biggest thing. Cody
You seem so disappointed.
Yeah, in April, Danner,
Dude,
we had
April 12th, I said.
He said, hey, if the Royals win the World Series, I'll get a tattoo of the Vinny,
it says, who gives a
bleep we're winning games or whatever. And I offered Cody a chance to redo a bet because he hadn't paid off another bet. If they just made the World Series, you get the tattoo. Cody's relieved today. No tattoo.
Okay, look, on October 11th of this year, if they win the World Series next year, I'll get the same tattoo.
Okay.
I'll put it back on the table for next year.
All right.
They win the World Series next year. I'll give them another crack at it. I'll get the exact same because in that it still applies. They're still winning games, and so I won't care in that scenario. I'll get the tattoo next year if they win the World Series.
The strip club bet is still part of the bet.
What the hell are you bringing that up for?
Well, because he hasn't. Drew, he's right. Drew's right. He hasn't paid off. You haven't paid off the bet.
I paid off the bleaching of the hair. I'm going to pay off the McDonald's.
I'm also going to pay off the. We all just say we're going to pay off things.
Drew, you don't have to. Here's the deal. You all actually. You don't have to do the McDonald's portion of the bet. If when Joe Burrow shaves his head inevitably because he looks like an idiot when he's 1-4 with bleach blonde hair, you do the same thing. You shave your head in solidarity. Whatever cut he does next year in solidarity.
But okay, I guess
no more
I guess the
McDonald's.
question is, what if he doesn't like have it
changed?
You can't get a haircut until he gets a haircut.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's whatever his next hairstyle is, or haircut.
What, he's not going to, like, let's face it, he's not going to go, like, 80s long, I don't think, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but
he's going to get a haircut
over his eye. All right.
He's going to, if it falls over his eyes, then you just got to look like you belong in My Chemical Romance. I don't know what to tell you.
I'll have to consider.
Like, that's life. He's going to think about it. He's thinking about your terms. I think you should like that Bobby is fueled by that, because I do think that he is the type of player to be like, okay, now it's on. Now I'm really mad. And he's going to spend his entire offseason working with Bobby Stroop and hitting off of a tee 6,000 times. And he's so talented that he is likely to take his game to yet another level, because that's the one part of it. He had one of the single greatest statistical seasons by a shortstop ever, by a Royal ever. And he's still only 25. Baseball peak doesn't usually happen at 20.
24.
Well, he'll be 25, I guess, next season.
In December, true.
And
fair.
so he's not, I mean, that's not normally peak for baseball players. So there's like so many other parts of his game in which he can get better.
June, I'm sorry. Actually, Cody, he won't even be 25 until mid-season.
Halfway through the year.
Yeah, he won't be. So, halfway through next season, he'll be 25. I don't know why I thought December.
I think he'll be fine, I think is what it turns out. No, I take this season no matter what as a massive win.
Are there people who are like logical, rational people that you trust saying that this is a disappointment?
No.
Okay, good.
Just the crazies.
Okay. Because have the Chiefs broken Kansas City sports fans, though?
Part of that is yes. I do think that...
We had a topic on that, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, like the way we judge sports teams in this town has changed forever because of the Chiefs. Absolutely.
And because of the Royals then. I think they all worked off each other. I'm still convinced the Chiefs never take Patrick Mahomes if the Royals don't win World Series and be like, man, we actually should probably make a move finally. We might want to actually try to contribute in some way. We can't just because at that time baseball had completely taken over the Chiefs. Even though the NFL is a far popular sport, at that time in the city, 90% of people were wearing blue before they were wearing red. I mean, middle Chiefs season or a game or whatever, it was different. And I thought it kind of forced them into being better. And then I thought the Chiefs being so good made the Royals look at themselves in the mirror at some point. And they're like, we can't keep operating like this, right? We can't just be a franchise that is stuck going nowhere. But yeah, I mean, in the last 10 years, since 2014, the only things we have experienced are the Royals made the postseason 3 times. Up to that time, it was 2. They'd gone to the World Series or won the World Series. And the Chiefs had gone to the postseason 7 times. And the worst they had ever finished is losing in the AFC Championship game in overtime or winning the World Series. So, the expectation of winning is actually, in fairness, completely skewed off of reality. Reality is not you just win championships when you show up to things.
No, I do think next year and the year we will judge the Royals. Also, I think all of us will judge them much differently next year, and understandably so. We should. I think absolutely have to. It was first about getting back to the postseason, and that was the John Sherman comment, Cody, that you referenced, and we've all remembered from 2022. And yeah, next year, certainly making the playoffs is absolutely the expectation. Sure. This year, it was, show some signs of improvement. People thought they were like a 77-win team. Vegas, I think 72.5. Now, next year, I expect them in the playoffs. Anything short of that automatically is disappointing, and then we go from there. And obviously, we can discuss whether it's division title or things like that. But yeah, Bobby said it in postgame. This is now not just the goal. This is where they are. That's who they are.
Yeah. It's also a shame that the entire AL Central was good this year. That's such garbage.
And I'm worried that it's going to be. I'm worried that Tigers are very young.
I wish I would have traded Scooble to deadline. Damn it.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Would have been nice for my wallet too. Let me tell you. He led the league in strikeouts, didn't he?
He lost it by 5. No, I don't think.
Wasn't it him?
Maybe.
I think it was him. Him or Cease. Lost it by 5.
He had an 80-1 bet on Cole Reagans to have the most strikeouts in Major League Baseball.
Wow.
He came up 5 strikeouts short. Or had they just lost the game on Friday, Gold might have gotten the start on Sunday.
Oh man, I didn't think about that.
He could have. It could have gone.
Thank you for.
He could have won it a couple of different ways.
Thank you for explaining the heartbreak portion of that. Thank you.
It sucks, but here's why it really sucks.
yeah. Hold on, wait. There's another way you could have maybe won that bet.
Yeah.
Let me lay it out for you that way, just in case you missed your opportunity. Are we all agreeing that we're Padres fans the rest of the way? Go Padres.
They're just a fun team to watch. My goodness,
man.
Fernando Tatis
Who you rooting for?
That whole team is so fun to watch. I also look at this point. I hope it's it's boring for some people, but The Tigers, screw it at this point. Let the Tigers go on a miracle run. Screw it.
Yeah, I don't care.
And then the Padres can beat them.
They've been such a bad franchise for so long.
I mean, we know what baseball and TV execs want. They want Yankees, Dodgers.
Sure.
Duh. They also wouldn't mind Subway Series again. They would love
Mets.
the Yankees, Mets. That would do the trick for them too.
I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. If Yankees Dodgers the World Series, I will not watch 1 second.
I know they're the bad guys.
I will not put that on.
I became a closet Dodgers fan a few years ago.
Interesting.
Danner.
I have the package, so I watch all the games, and their games are always on late night after ours are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're a good team. They're fun to watch. Vince Scully was an amazing broadcaster.
Sure.
So like I got pulled in there long before. I mean, obviously they were the evil empire, still spending all that money, but
I like
before
Mookie Betts.
Shohei,
Yeah, I like Mookie Betts. He's a very likable player.
I'll say, despite the fact they spend a bunch of money, they're not as like they don't rub it in your face the way the Yankees do. They just spend their money quietly, and they don't win nearly as many championships. So obviously, it doesn't feel as in your face either. The thing about the Yankees is, I'm so tired of franchises that mention so much things they did in like the 20s and 30s. Yeah, during the talkies, ooh, you really did it. When the league was segregated and we pretend like that shouldn't be counted against Hall of Fame stats like they count up the steroid era. I'm not impressed by your titles in the 20s and 30s when there were 6 teams and you were one of them. You really did it. Congratulations. We're the best franchise of all time. Oh, yeah, man, you did it. And FDR's here. I'm glad the New Deal and your team were good at the same time. I don't care anymore. They mentioned too many things from like 90 years ago.
My coworkers in St. Louis love to bust balls about the Cardinals having won 11 World Series. And they should have won 11 World Series. They've been around longer than Missouri was a state, right?
They've won the same as the Royals in my lifetime,
Same.
too.
Yep.
Text line seems split. One person says, go Padres. Someone else did say, screw Machado. They don't like him.
Oh, what?
I think the Padres are just a fun team to watch, period. Their style play, Profar faking out the fans in left field was incredible the other night. So good.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know. I can't carry on. So you're a closet Dodgers guy. So you're going Dodgers the rest of the way. All right.
But if Manny Machado was on our team, we would all love that guy, though.
Of course.
It's like he's like
you know how that
Brzezinski
goes.
was with the White Sox. We all hated him, but if he was our guy, that's our guy.
There is for whatever reason, I don't know why, but Jurickson Profar is one of my favorite baseball players.
Huh.
And I like Manny Machado as well, like back when he played short and everything like that with the Orioles and everything.
Do you think you like the Padres because they're like Cincy, as in they haven't won anything?
I think
as well.
I'll be honest. I think there's a partial.
But they're likable. The Cincinnati's not likable.
I think there's a partial connection there. My wife also loves Fernando Tatis, so I guess in a way, like I feel like I'm a closet Padres fan in a way. I never claimed a team, but I like the Padres because I like players on that team. So sure, why not? I'm gonna root for the Padres, and that's.
I kind of wish either the Padres or Detroit could have won it for the owners who were trying to spend whatever they could before they died. They're like, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I'll spend as much.
Passed away.
Yeah, it's like, but the Tigers owner Illich did that too at the end too. Like, I'll spend any amount of money it takes to try to see this team win. It's why, like, I don't feel bad like hoping Oregon wins a national championship in college football. I understand they're doing it by just paying for it, but at the but if you had that amount of money, you do the same thing. If I owned the Royals and I was dying and I had infinite amount of money, I would just be like, I don't care. Just tell me any amount of money you want in order for me to see another world, and you can have it. I don't care. Wouldn't we all do the same thing as a fan?
Probably. And Jerry Jones has been trying.
Money, yeah.
Jerry Jones has a salary cap, but Jerry Jones has been trying for a while. He recognizes, his age and where things are at.
Then you should have paid Derrick Henry.
I mean, what's the other choice? Get
Maybe, I don't
buried
know.
with it like you're a pharaoh in ancient Egypt? No, just take all my gold bars and put it in my grave with me.
Well, they do have
Guess you give
infinite
to charity.
money.
Well,
Nice.
that's the line from Charles Barkley. He's like, he wants to be dead broke his final minute of living. He's like
I kind of respect it.
He wants to be broke into the last minute of his life.
He almost has too much money. Like, how do you spend all the money that you have?
No, you got kids and things like that, obviously. But
yeah.
all right, we are going to hang out here some more with Jeremy Danner from Four Hands, having a couple great drinks. It's the Fan Club Friday on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
If you had the crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You'd just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market. The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity, and you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high, and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Football and Fireball is a match made in heaven. And by heaven, of course we mean Twin Peaks. Head over to your favorite lodge and spice things up next game day with a shot of our favorite cinnamon whiskey. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
There are so many things I love about fall weather. The crisp air, the changing leaves, it's all so magical. Until my kids catch a chill outside. That's where Kohl's comes in, with cozy layers, warm jeans, and more. I found all the styles my kids need when the seasons change. Plus, I got 20% off with a coupon and earned Kohl's Cash. So here's my style forecast. Prep better for fall weather at Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end October 20th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc., all rights reserved, Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
It's time to review the top 3 highlights of the day. I'm joined as always by my co-anchor Snoop.
Hey, what up, though?
Snoop, number 1 has to be getting the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence at T-Mobile.
Yeah, you should hustle down to T-Mobile like a dog chasing a squirrel chasing a nut.
Nice analogy, Snoop. Dogs do love to chase squirrels.
And squirrels love to chase those nuts.
On to highlight number 2. At T-Mobile, families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
That is very impressive. You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing with my savings, Snoop. Now, take it away, Snoop.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them. Now drop that jingle.
24 monthly bill credits. Eligible trade-in on Go 5G Next. Well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credits stop and balance on required finance agreement due. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Circa Resort and Casino when KC travels to Vegas. Calling all KC football fans to Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October as we huddle up at Overhang Bar, catching some of the game day action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge at Stadium Swim. Book your experience today. Visit circalasvegas.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here at Fan Club Friday on 96.5 The Fan. Alex Gold, Cody Tap, Drew Nixon with you. We got Jeremy Danner from Four Hands Brewing Company hanging out with us on a nice Friday. Obviously talking a lot about the Royals, looking ahead to the future. Also, I just heard it, so I want to bring it up again. We will have a live in-person fan club from Vegas in less than 2 weeks. If you're going to be in Vegas, we will be broadcasting poolside in a cabana from Circa Las Vegas on Thursday and Friday, which means that Friday show, and that'll be 11 a.m. Vegas time.
That's practically 9 p.m. For drinking purposes.
But we will be hanging out there. And so if you're a Chiefs fan, if you're going to be out in Vegas, make sure you stop by the show. But also that Friday night, we've got a party going on at Circa. Text in to 913-586-7965 if you want a link to RSVP. Get you a free cocktail. Get you entered to win game day tickets. It gets you entered to win a free day bed at Stadium Swim. That's the 143-foot screen, poolside, 6 pools. Place is incredible. It's our favorite place to go in Vegas. We were just there in August. We hope to see you guys out there as, yes, the Chiefs are playing the Raiders that weekend in Vegas. Side of the just a Super Bowl title.
That's the defending Super Bowl champions. No big deal. It'll be their first time back there since winning the Super Bowl, which feels like slightly big news. I'd like for the Club 610 one of those like giant frozen drinks you wear around your neck.
No Club 610. Fan club, baby.
The fan club. Yeah. Can I get one of those like ones you wear around your neck, like a giant frozen drink?
Sure.
11 o'clock Friday morning. That feels right.
Get a hand grenade.
I got nothing else. I got nothing left to do the rest of the day. I don't have any other working obligations. Starting at 11 o'clock, I'm pretty much free for the rest of the weekend.
At noon, we will be off the air there at Vegas time. That's true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, other than to party at Overhang Bar that night, but I mean.
You got to make it to the party.
I'll make it to the party. I was only drunk one
time.
Your
wife's going to be there, too.
Okay, you and I have been in.
Oh, yeah?
You and I have
his wife's
been.
flying out as
she's
well.
coming.
Nice.
We have been in Las Vegas 2 times in the last 6 months.
True.
And only one of those 2 times was I too drunk by the time Friday night hit. The other time I was fine. So, not bad.
That's true.
The other time I was drunk, and it turns out.
To a concert, though.
And I didn't realize I was going to be. I was very drunk in front of our boss. Like big boss.
We were at a Luke Combs concert. Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to be drunk at a Luke Combs concert, man.
And in fairness, I had started drinking quite a bit earlier in the day. So that was the mistake.
Last time I was there, I had like the 32-ounce whiskey ginger ale drinks. It's too much.
But if you're going to be in Vegas, just text in, and we'll send you a link to RSVP for that party on Friday night. We're gonna be out there for a couple days. It's gonna be a great weekend out in Vegas. Danner, you should just come, man.
Come out to
Tell
Vegas?
the wife, sorry, honey.
Gotta go. I would say she's listening, but she never listens to me when I'm on the radio. She's like, I was doing important things. I'm like, okay, cool.
Tell her they need me.
I'll try.
They need me out there.
They need me, babe. She's like, sure they
He's
do.
bringing the party, you know? How will we have a good time if Danner's not there?
Everyone knows there's no party in Vegas already. He has to be there to bring the party.
That's exactly right. I did look at the weather. I think obviously it's warm as hell here in October too, but it'll be like 85 when we're out there. And I know Chiefs fans show up in Vegas. We saw it for the Super Bowl. We saw it ever since that building's been open. It's Arrowhead West, so I know we'll have a good time with plenty of Chiefs fans for that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the number of people out there. But again, if you want the link to RSVP, it's up on our social media pages. Or, just text the text line 913-586-7965. We'll get it to you.
We were looking ahead to the future of the Royals a little bit, and you don't even have to give me a specific name, but just right now on October the 11th, like what's the priority for you? Where do you think they have to go out and either acquire or retain? Where do you think they have to improve this team so that hopefully we have a deeper run next year to talk about?
I mean, I think you always have to have starting pitching, especially when it comes to the postseason. That's a premium you have to have. But I'd like to see the ability to stretch the lineup a little more too. Because like the past couple of nights, you want to stay positive, but you start to get down and you can see it in their faces. You're like, these guys look defeated. They look like they're not going to go up and hit the ball. And you need guys that look like hitters. Like Tommy Pham, when he's up there, he looks like a video game guy. Like he's all, he's huge. He's not Aaron Judge huge, but he looks like
I definitely wouldn't mess with him.
No, I wouldn't fight any of those guys.
Yeah, he works out in the offseason just to kick your ass if he needs to.
I'd like more starting pitching, and I'd like to be able to have some better bats in the 7, 8, 9 spots.
Yeah, I think what's funny is like, normally you're like, I wish we just had a 3-hitter. You're like, that's not this team's problem. Bobby Wood Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, and Salvador Perez, that'll work for the middle of your order. You can absolutely work around that system and make that work fundamentally. I think it's just like, one more guy who gives you, this is why I think the older veterans probably might play professional at-bats. I didn't realize how much I missed that until like Yuli Gurriel and Tommy Pham showed up. And you're like, man, these are big league at-bats. No freebies, not just giving away swings, making someone work for it, taking some walks, fouling some pitches off. They got a lot of guys that are still young where, I think Isbell and MJ and some of those guys are a little more guilty of just giving some pitches away.
The outfield is still where, like, Hunter Renfroe's going to opt in. I get it. But, like, the outfield, one of those spots, specifically a corner spot, I don't know. I would, whether it's through a trade market, maybe you're trading away a pitcher to go and get said talent. I don't know. But that's still an area where I think they could certainly upgrade, is outfield heading into next season. I think it's going to be tough to do that, but that would be an area like if they had to roll with the same 3, I'm not saying it's like this huge issue for them, but I definitely think if you're talking about areas to improve, that's one area that comes to mind right away for me.
I just think MJ makes plays more interesting than they need to be sometimes.
He's got a lot better, though, in left
so
field.
Much, yeah.
At the plate, though, obviously it was not a good season.
Yeah.
It goes without saying.
Yeah, and some of this is, I also think that there's probably continued development of some of the hitters like Michael Garcia and MJ. I don't think just because someone hit 220 this year doesn't mean one of them won't be better next year. We saw that with Moustakas and others. Now, he was propelled by a deep World Series run in which he played great versus those guys did not step up with massive performance. Michael had the one huge game. But I don't know. Someone probably will still continue their development. Salvi might fall back a little bit because he had kind of a completely resurgent year. But there's no reason to think Bobby or Vinny's numbers are coming down. Like, those guys are who they are, I think, and still young enough that you're not going to assuming that it's going one way or the other. They probably just are who they are as hitters, which is a good thing.
I mean, you don't do what Bobby Wood Jr. did as a fluke. It's not, this is who he is. This is who he's become, that guy. And you saw it from the beginning of the season. The guy signed this massive contract, and he knew what was expected of him. His dad's his agent. They've had these conversations his entire life, getting ready for this moment, and he played his guts out every game.
Okay, so you're a huge baseball fan. What do you do with now all your extra time?
I wait.
Like we always just like we joke with Alex because like he doesn't want to date during football season as much, and I'm like, well, you know what? You were doubly busy because of baseball and football, so now free time. You got some extra free time now, man.
I do.
You got a little extra free time now.
That is true.
A few more evenings available to you. I'm just asking how you spend the extra free time you got. Now I got some extra free time.
It's a bye week too, Cody. You never know.
I have a problem. I'll watch.
Let's get Alex a date for Saturday. Who's got a single girl who's willing to date Alex between the ages of 26 and 34? 26 to 34. I feel like he's dated more blonde women, but I'm open on the hair color. Is available tomorrow night for a date with Alex.
Is there a golf handicap requirement? Because I remember Dana had a golf handicap requirement.
No.
There is no golf handicap requirement.
No.
Gold would like somebody who is, I think he's established before. We've talked enough about it.
Oh, Cody's answering all this for me. Keep going. We'll see.
He would like, again, he's not determined by hair color. I just think he's dated more blonde.
That would be an accurate. That'd be an accurate statement.
In my outside perspective, I think he likes someone who has a handle on their life, right?
For
like,
sure.
knows what they want to do for a job, has a career in mind, works in that career. That's what we're looking for this date, you know?
I think there are a lot of people out there that fit that, right?
Less than you
I don't
think.
I've been with my wife since 2002, though, so I should shut up. I don't know anything about trying to date.
Since 2003.
I don't know nothing, man. Nothing.
Dude, the apps didn't even exist when we were dating. That's not. We can't even pretend to understand the app.
Cody's never swiped right in his life.
No,
man.
Honest to
I
God,
have friends.
thank God.
I just swipe them all and let God sort it out, you know? Yeah, when we were dating, there weren't commercials during Major League Baseball games for manscaping. Like, that's a lot of pressure, dude.
Yeah, but you probably should take care of yourself a little bit down there, you know?
Yes. Just ask Juju, you know? For those that don't know the reference, you know, if you listen to the show, you know what we were, you know.
Can you find that clip that fast?
I gotta get going. About to start.
That's a clip of him. He was getting ready to.
It was on a Gillette commercial.
My body is my career, and shaving my pubes is no different.
You weren't expecting that clip,
I didn't expect him to say that shaving his pubes was his career.
Juju Smith-Schuster, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to KC.
Can I hijack for a second and go back to something you guys were talking about earlier?
Yes.
You're talking about the haunted houses at Worlds of Fun,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So take your kids, but be prepared to be like the worst dad ever a few times during the night.
Okay.
Because we took our son Cooper there a couple years ago.
How old was he then, probably?
He's 11, so he's probably 8 or 9 then. And he wants to watch scary movies because that's what I like to do. So like, well, let's try it. And we get in like the first one that was pretty scary, and he's like, I want to go home, and I want to go home now. I'm like, well, we're not going home.
Now, look, in fairness, the tickets I got for tonight are free. So, like,
yeah, go, dude.
So I can just, like, we can eject on this thing very quickly.
Well,
some of the rides are open, right? They can still, like, get on a ride?
The rides are open, and they have a couple ones that were for more, like, little kids.
Yeah, because
So,
my youngest one's 6.
Yeah.
He also, like, they make more, I think, more than even when I was a kid. My parents would just show me scary content that was not meant for children. They would show me, like, I'd watch It or Stand By Me. And it's not a scary movie. Like, we'd watch that, all kinds of, like Halloween movies and stuff that weren't, like, the Halloween series, that weren't meant for children. Now they make stuff for kids. Like, my kids, like, Rainbow Friends or Smiling Critters, or, you know, like, there's
the Fear Street or the
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
The Fear Street. Or, like, there's stuff that seems like it's, like, getting kids into scary stuff earlier. So, like, my kids have already shown some interest in that. I straight up gave them, like, I asked them, I was like, this is gonna be scary. Do you want to go? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know,
It's
man.
good. It's
I
scary,
don't know
man.
that you
Yeah.
want it. So it's actually scary.
It's legit. Yeah.
Someone's going to be running with a
necklaces?
chainsaw after your children tonight.
What's the
that's
deal on
what it
these
sounds
ghost necklaces where they don't get jump scared?
I haven't seen that. To me, like, so we took our friend Hillary. We all went together, and she's a screamer in a haunted house, right?
Yeah, sure.
And they were just firing on her the entire time. And she's like, "Do you think they're targeting me?" Yes, Hillary.
Yes, they're
Like, you
obviously
are
targeting
you are
you.
their dream guest in here. So I don't know anything about the ghost lights. Now, if that's a rule, that's a rule. But like, they can't touch you, you know, and they're not gonna like follow you too much. But like, they
I know, but like, I don't want my kid trying to crawl into my bed for the next week straight
Right.
because I terrified
they
him.
put on a good show, man. Like,
Cody,
it's a good show. Yeah.
I'm just saying, we're going to hear back Monday. It's either going to go great, and your kids, I told you, are going to be like laughing at them, and that could be bad on one hand.
In a lot of ways, it's just more concerning.
Or on the other hand, they are going to not sleep for 3 or 4 days.
Alex says either way, if I take him, he wants a post game report.
Oh yeah. for
Like
sure.
them
Yeah.
after, like, how'd you like it? And they're just like.
It
Like
was
a pre,
scary.
you gotta
Yeah,
do one
yeah,
before
yeah.
and after where they're like, I'm so excited. And then after, and they're like, I'll never sleep.
You're going tonight or tomorrow?
Tonight.
Oh, it's going to be a long weekend.
Tonight.
When there are dudes running around that like slide at you and do scary stuff while you're walking around, so you're gonna get a good feel for how into it they are.
Here's the other thing. My wife doesn't like scary stuff, so she is not going to be enjoying herself at this time.
Let me ask
she
you,
doesn't like.
so
I'm
why?
indifferent.
So why are you going?
To support the kid at her dance studio. I want to be like a good person. He's He's like one of the older kids in the dance studio. He's doing a live performance for one of the shows there. He invited everybody out and offered everybody his comp tickets to do it.
Very nice.
I'm trying to be supportive of other people in their creative art.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be not, and they offered to bring everybody. And then I asked the kids, and they seemed like kind of cool with it. But now I'm like, now I'm questioning all.
I'm just trying to tip your expectations a little bit. Like there are ones that are definitely more geared towards kids, so start there. But like there were a couple where I got spooked, but I like that stuff, so I giggle and laugh the whole time too.
Someone says the ghost nests don't work at some places, so we'll see if it works there. Oh boy!
I mean, if I saw that and I knew I wasn't going to get in trouble, I would ignore that, and that would be my target.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this person doesn't want to get scared. I'm going to scare this person.
Not if they're like 7, but if they were like 20 and had that.
Do I know their parents?
Oh, that.
If I don't know their parents, then I'm going to scare them.
So there's only one other time we've tried to take them to, like, I'd say a haunted house. Her dance studio 2 years ago did one, like, at the studio. And it had, one of the dads back there with a chainsaw, and they were, like, jumping out of, like, hallways and stuff. And one kid wouldn't go in, but he was 4, and Ruby was 6 at that time, and she was also not interested. But I don't know, maybe he'll like scary stuff more.
I mean, even when used properly, a chainsaw is scary.
Also, like, here's the truth. Do they get scared tonight? Yeah. Are they going to, like, need to talk about this with their therapist at 25? I don't think so.
Well,
I mean, it seems pretty unlikely.
Yeah, you never know, man.
I'm not saying 0%, but, And honest to God, if that's the thing that they need to talk to about the therapist, they're pretty well rounded. They're doing okay.
You're doing well.
We usually have,
yeah.
the rest of us have, like, way worse psychological trauma.
So we'll find out on Monday, man. I can't wait to hear the update on this.
Oh, man. Man, this is going to be.
When are you taking the kids to the pumpkin patch? You guys, Danner, do you do that either?
Oh, yeah,
couple
for
weeks,
sure.
week or two. We got the passes. We're already.
Oh, you already got the passes.
Yeah, we just
Nice.
we just haven't figured out a date yet. But yes, we'll take the kids to the pumpkin patch. Why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah,
That's like
no,
classic.
that seems like an easy thing to do with your kids.
It's just like classic adult with kids stuff.
Do you carve pumpkins at home? Do you do that too?
I usually carve about one a year.
Okay.
It's
terrible.
It's not a.
It's so hard. It's so messy.
So we did it as kids. So like now anymore, I'm like relatively used to it. I've got a friend, like a lot of people have friends who do like a pumpkin carving party. I make it about every other year. So usually around that time, I'll carve it. I usually don't do it with the kids because I get frustrated because they get bored of it faster. And I'm like, carve it. And I like start turning. I'm like, why are you leaving me? Now I'm carving 3 pumpkins. I didn't want to carve 3. So I just give up. Like, carving it directly with them, I don't do as much. But I carved a Cody and Gold pumpkin one year.
Yeah, it turned out really nice.
I took our show
nice
logo,
job.
and I spent an unrealistic amount of time, I would say, at this party making my own stencil and then detail carving a Cody and Gold pumpkin. It was probably unnecessary.
I switched to just poking
And
holes
it was
with
like
a screwdriver.
backlit.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Pretty
it
good,
turned out,
right?
it turned out really well.
Yeah.
This was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago at least?
Yeah, I think I should do a 96.5 the fan one this year.
So you shaved it down so the rectangle.
Yeah, so like when you
doors,
put it in there, like essentially like backlit, right? Like it would still shine through. I had to like get really the white part really thin so it would still work.
So
I never carved a pumpkin like that. I just figured I could figure it out.
A minute or two left here for the fan club. Someone did say it's a fair point, I actually think, from the text line, 913-586-7965. You said, why are you going tonight again? Say that again. You're going to the
I said
pumpkin
I
patch
wanted to support
creative art. Right? And the
This
text
is gonna
line
come back around to
the
be
text
like,
line quickly responded as they
Oh,
reminded
no,
me.
I didn't think about that.
They reminded me, again, you, as Danner knows as well, you haven't paid off your bet. They said, if you support creative art, how come you don't just go to the strip club?
That is unfortunate phrasing by me, in the sense that I don't really have a great argument on the other side of it. Also, I wasn't invited. Like in this case, I was invited.
Sure.
So
I think you're always invited to the strip club. Though. I think it's an open invitation.
But, they didn't extend it verbally. They didn't say. Okay, yeah, I don't have a great argument for it. I'm sorry. Big plans for this weekend, anybody?
One of my nephew's birthdays. So we got a little birthday. I believe he'll be 10.
Nice.
So we're gonna do a little birthday party on Sunday over there. I need to get something still today and tomorrow. I got to figure that out. Any suggestions?
Bow and arrow.
No, he's really into sports, memorabilia type stuff, baseball cards, basketball cards, something like that. I got to get. Last year I just got him a bunch
Can you give him anything from covering these playoff games? You get anything from that?
from the Royals playoff run. No, he did go to the game on Wednesday though. He got his first postseason game.
that's cool.
Him and his brother, one of his brothers, went to that. But yeah, I don't know. I'll find something. It's probably going to be sports related. He's got so many basketball jerseys now. That's the big thing. Like all his friends, they all have like Giannis jerseys, LeBron jerseys. SGA.
If you get him one, you should get him like an old one. Like
Boy,
a
you just got a Shaquille O'Neal magic one.
Damn it.
Ooh, nice.
I know, right? I know.
That is
That's awesome.
God. That's a good one.
I know. So I'll come up with
That's a good
something.
one.
But that's what's going on Sunday. Other than that, man, great college football Saturday. I know Drew's locked into that.
Great Saturday. Last week was the trap games. This week is the good ones. You get the Red River rivalry. You get number 2 Ohio State against number 3 Oregon. K-State's got the big one against Dion and Colorado that we talked about a little bit earlier. And then there's LSU and Ole Miss, too. It's a good slate.
What about you, Danner? What are you doing?
I got a lot of youth baseball coming up. We got 2 games tonight,
There you
bracket
go.
on
Nice.
Sunday. We got a new couch today, and I'm going to nap on it tomorrow.
There you go.
What kind? Sectional? Regular couch?
Yeah. It's like 3 cushions and then like the lounge.
The chaise? The
Yes,
chaise lounge?
The chaise lounge, yeah.
Gold has that on his couch, too.
We're fancy.
Those are nice, man. They're comfy. I don't touch the rest of my couch. Like that's it for the
That's
most
the part
part.
you said?
The dog sits on the other part of the couch, and I get the Chase Lounge or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Fancy. Congrats on your new couch, man.
Thanks for coming in the studio, man. Good to see you.
Always happy to be here.
Again,
guys.
that's
Thank
Jeremy
you.
Danner from Four Hands Brewing Company. This incarnation juice is so good. A little guava, a little pineapple, passion fruit. Hope everybody has a great weekend, bye week for the Chiefs. So, yeah, go outside, do stuff with the family, you know?
No baseball and no Chiefs, so
Well, that part sucks, but yes.
put in some FaceTime with the people you love.
That's right. All right, guys, we'll talk to you Monday right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics.